For those that don't know much about the Superior State, there's a couple of things that need to be explained. First thing is, in the UP, we don't explain things. Second thing is, we got some of the best hunting and fishing in the whole Neon Crew podcast.
Hell yeah.
For a relatively kind of, movie that's not seen by that many people, pretty rich quotes page on IMDb.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. It's ripe with, good old Upper Peninsula wisdom. Mostly about, the things that they like to do. But I think that's just Upper Peninsula culture in general, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's
a very activity-based culture.
Well, being from Michigan, you're like watching it, it's just ringing out.
Yeah.
Like everything that's being talked about or said or discussed, you kind of like, oh, I know that. Not really like, oh, that goes on, but I can't imagine pulling someone from Washington or California or Colorado and showing them that film and having that, they would probably be enamored with the quotes.
Right. They wouldn't be like, oh my God, I can't believe this aspect of this, group of people. But, there's a familiarity. It feels like we are privy to a lot of this movie's nomenclature and like the way it carries itself.
Yes.
More so than I think the 49 other states, I guess.
Wisconsin's probably close.
Wisconsin would be close. Maybe Minnesota.
Maybe.
Yeah. But other than those, it's a pretty exclusive club. It feels like.
Yes.
Almost. It feels like Jeff Daniels is kind of like waving you and like, all right, you know what? You passed the test.
Yeah.
You can watch this and you're on the up and up. You're on the VIP list. Everybody else has got to wait outside.
Yeah, to some extent with the film, but yeah.
Welcome everybody to episode.
Oh, and I'm also going to say too, now that I think about it though, but like that's the impression that people now have of Michiganders, which I almost would take offense to.
There's like an element, and we can talk about it when we discuss
right.
the film recommendation.
That just hit me real quick.
There is an element of, is this offensive and like too caricature-y in a way? Like, is this pejorative of like a depiction of people who live in Michigan, specifically the Upper Peninsula?
Would you feel good about yourself, first impression, of saying, hey, I've got a film, we're going to put this on, and I want you to collect your thoughts about how you think I operate after seeing this?
Well, it's funny because watching the movie, I watched it with Megan last night. Megan, who is from Baton Rouge.
Yep.
If you don't know where that is, folks, that is on the southern part of the country. We are very much located in the northern part of the country. Bit of a difference there between the two, if you don't know already. But I just kept saying the same thing over and over again. It's like, this movie is my culture. You can't make fun of it. Which sets up a good precedent for the events that happen in the film.
Yeah.
But it was that funny thing of, like, how much of the line is blurred between, like, how people really act in the UP during hunting season and, what is a little bit exaggerated.
We'll talk about it.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 107 of the Neon Crew podcast. My name is Kyle.
I'm Mac.
We're back.
Mac's back.
Mac is back.
We're back.
Mac Daddy?
Yeah. Oh.
The question mark is going to be turned into an exclamation point. Mac, take it away.
All right. Hey, so for all of our 13 followers,
hell yeah,
we're expecting.
Mac and I are expecting. That is right. I am pregnant.
And that rebounds off a funny SNL skit that I just saw. No. Me and my wife, tomorrow's gonna be 14 weeks. I hope I have that right. So we're going through the process again. We've made the announcement everywhere else, so now it's time to include the Neon Crew community, the Neon Crew family.
The Neon Mafia.
The Neon Mafia, yes. So if you have not seen any of the socials or my socials, and some of you may have not, now you know. Now you're in the loop. Now you can talk to your friends about it and discuss, what will the baby be? What's the name? How big will it be?
Yeah. You can place your bets in the comments section of any of our posts.
Yeah, even without to it.
Yeah, even without context of what you're talking about, I'll know it's for Mac's third child.
Yeah, so
Well, that's exciting, dude. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, hoping for a boy, but if this episode lives on for 18 years, if it's a girl, I love you.
What if we like experience a weird like ratings boost or like uptick in the show after every time you announce that you're having a kid? So then we plan it so that way like every year or so you make another announcement that you're having a kid. Well, I'm basically telling you to have more kids for the sake of the show.
Yeah, no, I was thinking it'd be a little bit more funny if this turned more into like a HGTV show.
Oh yeah,
and it started turning like what's the show with all the kids? Actually
18 kids and counting.
Yeah,
which I think now was like what 24 kids and counting or
yeah.
some
I don't know.
shit.
That's pretty bad.
That poor
toxic.
mom. They've got it's like falling out at that point, right?
I'm thinking Mad Max Fury Road with her.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, that's grisly.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh, that got dark quick. Yeah, no, but it'd be funny. It's all of a sudden we're doing this, and it's slowly turning into like my baby advice. That by like episode 200, it's
the
just
format of the show is just like completely shifted.
Yeah, we're talking cribs and how to I'm like talking about how to set this up.
How do I manage my 17 children?
Yeah,
you're like fucking 53 years old
with 17 kids.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Thoughts to think about.
Yeah.
Anyway, congratulations on that again. We're very excited for you. And speaking of excitement, we've got some movies to talk about.
We diving in?
I think we're just diving in.
Let's dive.
You know what? It's been a while. We've got to wet our feet, and we might as well just walk straight into the pool. So I think because I recommended Escanaba into Moonlight, I will let you take away the discussion of the newer film that we'll be talking about.
Yeah.
Predator Badlands.
Yes, Predator Badlands. We decided to go on the hunting theme with it being opening weekend here last weekend before, somewhere in there.
I think this past weekend.
Yeah.
I kept hearing my coworkers talking about how they're like
killed things.
Their nephew went out into the woods with a gun.
Yeah.
Fired it.
Yes. That'd be an interesting one, bringing aliens in and just saying in your simplest terms, explain what you did. Mm-hmm. Speaking of aliens and hunting and doing things, Predator Badlands, 2005 film that came out. Oh God,
2025.
2025.
Be crazy if this came out 20 years ago.
Did I say 20 years ago? Sorry,
You're good.
I was just trying to think. Like, I don't know when it got released. It's been out in theaters maybe a couple weeks.
Yep, very new movie.
Yeah, so PG-13, hour and 47 minutes. Goes down pretty quick. Directed by Dan Trachtenberg. Written by Patrick Azan.
Yep, I think that's his writing partner. That was also he wrote the screenplay for Prey as well.
Yeah. Okay, Trachtenberg's kind of got the Predator. He went, what's a franchise we haven't exploited yet? That one. Or he went, that one sucks and I can revive it.
I don't know if I have. I was going to say, I think it's more of the latter than the former.
Yeah.
So I would like to believe anyway.
So we got real. I think the only really big name in this thing's Elle Fanning.
Yeah.
Right?
Most marketable name anyway.
Everyone else
if
is
you're going for like recognizability.
That's it.
A lot of stunt performers in this movie, which is fun to see.
Yeah, so essentially Predator Badlands. We start out with the film. We got a predator he's going through the wasteland, wherever their home is, Predatoria. And
yes.
He's like, you get to see everything in here, it opens up with like something eating something, eating something, eating something. That thing lives and then he runs over it. So
Predatopolis.
Predatopolis. I do like that. It'd be a fun just to see their government.
Yeah. Right. But you know what? Who had the same thought? George Lucas when making the prequels. It'd be fun to see their government.
Yeah.
And look how that turned out.
Now we have Dan Trachtenberg.
Yes.
So maybe not a great idea. So anyways, it opens up and he's driving and he's on the hunt, or at least we think, and he meets up, he gets in this cave and he starts yelling out, and all of a sudden you realize they can talk. They have their own sense own form of language. nomenclature. And, they get into a tussle and you find out it's this thing's brother, and you find out, that it's toxic masculinity within this culture that they have in Predatopolis. And, they get in this fight and he's trying to prove his worth. And all of a sudden, the father shows up and kind of starts raining hell. And is taken. It's very Spartan-esque, where if you're weak, you're dying. And this small predator has been called weak and has been sent to his death. So the dad steps in, and some events unfold. He gets away, not by his own volition, and ends up going to Gina. Yeah, it's part of the ritual of the predators. They have to hunt something and kill it and bring it back and show that they're worthy. And he said he was going to take on the Kalisk of Gina, the unstoppable machine that is the Kalisk on Gina.
It's like a legendary beast that no predator has been able to kill.
Yeah, completely mocked. Yeah, you're going for that thing? Okay.
Good luck, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. You'd think that'd be the words, but it really wasn't. You'll die, and then people do die, or things die, and then he's there. So, and then it takes off. We get into the world of Gina, and we'll go from there. So, spoilers for Predator Badlands.
Spoilers for Predator Badlands, the 7th entry in the Predator franchise. Curious to start this discussion off with a bit of a franchise look.
Yeah.
At least a little bit to start things off.
Okay.
Where are you on the Predator franchise? Your overall feelings, your experience with it?
No, I stopped.
When?
Is Alien vs. Predator included in this?
Let's, for the sake of argument, say that it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's part of the 7?
I guess not on its so this is the 7th movie, not counting those films.
Okay, so we're at 9, including them.
But I think it is important to include them at least a little bit, especially with the android aspect of this film.
It's always hard to. So yeah, when we said spoilers, Weyland Yutani is part of the Alien franchise, and they it's part of this universe that they've got built out, and I do appreciate that they're doing their best to to mingle both these franchises together.
Yeah.
I was pretty much done. I saw Alien vs. Predator. Me and my buddy went and saw it in theaters way back when, and we were, I think I was in middle school, and it's like, man, this is going to be fucking kick ass. Like Alien, yes. Predator, yes. Humans that they're hunting, yes. And then the movie sucked.
Yeah. The tagline, which is whoever wins, we lose,
yes,
means the audience.
Yeah.
The audience loses.
The
because the movie sucks shit.
Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. And I'm not going to give things away in it, but there's a certain scene that I will never forget ever that I watched, and me and my buddy both audibly laughed out loud as in the theaters. This is an action, whatever movie. And we're laughing. It turned into a comedy, and not what it meant to do, but that's where I stopped. And then when they started saying, "Hey, we got more of these things coming out," it's kind of like Jurassic Park, where it's just more of the same. Yeah. You get these very unoriginal stories. They're very storyboard-esque, and it's essentially getting the faithful just to go and watch these things and really gain nothing from it besides maybe white noise that comes from the screen. So, essentially, I am a Predators 1. I'll stick by Predator 2. And then AVP is... I watched Requiem once, thinking man, they're going to get that right. Nope. No. So you stick up for Predator 1 and Predator 2. Yep.
And then other than your bad taste in your mouth experience with AVP...
Oh, I've seen Prey.
Okay, you've seen Prey.
I've seen Prey. That brought me back.
Okay.
Prey brought me back. Where
it brought a lot of people back.
Yeah, and Trachtenberg did that one, and and we'll talk about it more with this. The universe that he's kind of pulling from, and as much of the canon that he can use, I think he's getting into these films, which makes it more refreshing. Mm-hmm. And it's it was an interesting take with this one, but Prey was also an interesting take. You know, where before it was a lot of like, here are the humans, here's the predator, let's figure out how much shit we can cram in here to make this thing really action packed without actually having any action in it, no story or character development whatsoever. And it's flipped it on its head. So like the chunk in between Predator 2 and this is all shit. But I stick up for Prey. I actually watched that not too long ago, and
yeah, Prey's a fun hang.
Man, the first time I watched it with my dad, and I was like, yeah, okay, more of the same. But it kept me engaged. And then
it does. I think the smart thing of let's go back to the roots of what made the first Predator special.
Yes,
and it's just like a simple survival story where this thing is hunting you down, picking people off one by one, but you've got your central character who has to figure out, problem solve. How do I fight this thing that I've never fucking seen before? And has technology that could just like annihilate me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to run through my Predator experience real quick.
Okay.
Saw the first movie not that long ago for the first time. Had a fun time with it, but didn't quite fall in love with it the same way I did the first Alien movie. Obviously, I'm comparing the two different sort of genres, but like, obviously crossover.
Yeah.
But still, I enjoyed it for what it was. Don't know if I would ever like rush back to like rewatch it super soon, but I would give it another whirl. Predator 2 I don't think is quite a good movie, but it's got some good stuff in it. I like Bill Paxton quite a bit.
Danny Glover's fun.
Glover's fun.
The environment.
I like the concept of it.
Yeah.
The idea that the Predator is tackling the concrete jungle is like, I think a fun idea. I think the movie just sort of gets lost in its own kind of like, it messes with like the gang wars and stuff, and like that, all that stuff just kind of like gets a little messy.
Yes,
which is kind of the point, but my interest wanes. Predators with Adrian Brody is just straight up just a bad movie.
Yep.
Again, kind of similar.
Didn't they go like, we're taking the world's worst people and throwing them on this planet?
The whole gist with that one is we are taking like the Earth's deadliest different types of killers.
Oh yeah,
and we're putting them on the Predator planet.
And Brody's like
Brody's like
Green Beret or Navy SEAL.
He's like
guy?
a Navy SEAL guy, and then there's like criminals and like cartel members, and then do you care if I spoil lightly at all?
Lightly?
Predators, like an aspect of Predators.
Maybe don't as lightly as we don't want to ruin. I mean, that's not what we're talking about.
There's an element of it with I'll just say Topher Grace's character.
Oh, that's right. He's in there too.
Yeah, that is just straight up stupid.
They took the scrawniest people and they're like, you're gonna be the best killers. Killer at accounting.
The Predator came out 2018.
Yeah.
Directed by Shane Black. Kind of rubbed up against some of the Shane Blackness of it. I think I admitted on the Kiss Kiss Bang Bang episode I'm not a huge fan of his writing style. Right. But it's got some fun, silly ideas. Still not a good movie. And it uses autism as a superpower, which is always such a great thing to do.
Well, you can do positive reflection on it or negative.
It's definitely a gimmick. It's very gimmicky.
That's negative then.
Because you've got the Predator and then Prey. So then after I watched Prey, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to watch the AVP movies. Those movies just don't watch them.
Don't watch them.
It's not worth it.
They're TNT made films that somehow made it to theaters.
Yeah. It's incredible how much of a TNT movie those things are. And then recently, animated movie came out, Predator: Killer of Killers.
That's the one I want to check out.
That's a fun time.
Yeah,
I like that one quite a bit.
I heard it's a very fun time.
Yeah, it's good animation, decent, kind of like three act storylines that are separate but then converge at the end. It's a fun time. I like it quite a bit. All that to say is that I've seen all the Predator movies. I've seen AVP. I'm not entirely sure I could say with confidence, but this one would be up there for me in terms of like my favorites out of the franchise.
Yeah.
But to me, this is still a franchise that is like kind of a low ceiling. I guess you could say. Like
I
feel like the best Predator movies aren't like great to me.
Well, I mean, we disagree there, but we're not here to talk about the original Predator.
Right. Right. We're here to talk about Predator Badlands.
Yeah. I would say, so we're hopping into it.
Yes.
This is a unique one in the sense that it takes an interesting storyline, right? So we've always followed the Predator in terms of being the villain. And the eventual conquest is, you got to take it out, and it's almost man versus machine, right? And survival, man's most dangerous game, right? Just put it on its head. And it takes this one and it flips it and puts it in a way that we actually get to see a little bit more of the Predator culture. And like what their community looks like, and the familial traits. Very Spartan-esque, and everything's really designed in terms of like very toxic masculinity and being the alpha, right? Essentially, even though that's kind of described in this movie. And put in a way that this guy, it's not coming of age, but like, what do you?
It's like a hero's journey.
A hero's journey, but like what do you earn your rights? Yeah. Like, hey, you're the first, when you're 13, you're going to go out, you have to go out into the woods, and you have to, you got to kill a bear or whatever it is. And you can't come home unless you get the pelt of the bear.
Rite of passage.
Yeah. Rite of passage. Right. And it's a very fun look at that. And then we get introduced to some of these, unique characters that fall into the film. We get to find out that, there's a whole language section within Predators, and that they actually work together, and that, so I applaud it in the uniqueness and the route that it took with this, whereas everyone before it had been focusing on killing this thing, getting away, figuring out, man's most dangerous game, right? I'll keep coming back to that and using the environment and trying to one up with Darwinism. And this one it took a different route, which I did appreciate. We discussed earlier kind of with where films are going. That is a lot of what annoyed me, and I'm sure we'll talk about this thing. But when we do discuss movies, hanging their balls out there or taking a shot and doing something that's unique or different, I definitely think that Trachtenberg was going after that. And
yeah,
this movie is incredibly fun. I don't think that there's any denial in that regard. Mm-hmm. I don't think that you sit here and you can watch this thing and you're checking your clock. You're looking to see when's it ending right now. Yeah. If you go in with a certain expectation about what you're viewing, especially the way that the trailers are built up with this thing, there's an air of mystery with Elle Fanning's character and all this, and what she might be a part of. And, it's all built up around taking out the callus. Like, they show it in the trailer, and it's all building up to this moment. But, it subverts it just a little bit. I mean, essentially, once you get going and you realize, like, oh, this is the main character that we are following, and this is his plight. It's a unique way of doing it, and I like that Trachtenberg went that route with this, and he's diving more into the Predator universe.
Yeah, I think Dan Trachtenberg using this franchise as like a vehicle for like fun concepts to expand upon the world, I think is it seems like it comes from a genuine place.
Yes.
Especially after you watch Prey and Predator Killer of Killers, movies that feel like, especially with Prey, proof of concepts of like, okay, we can kind of take this idea and apply it to different time periods. Yes. I think there was a rumor that, and it sort of translates into Killer of Killers, but there was a rumor that the next movie he was working on was going to be of the same kind of basic structure, except set in feudal Japan.
Oh,
like we were going to see a samurai fight the Predator, which you more or less kind of get in the animated film. It's just that I think we had an expectation of like, oh, this is going to be a feature-length thing, but instead it turned into like an anthology animated thing, which was,
still fun.
Yeah.
I gotta add that to my list.
What really, I think, kind of effectively worked for me is and we can talk about, sort of the expected nature of like blockbuster filmmaking. But you think about the old Predator movies and how, even though they are thrillers through and through, and, there's like, of course, like elements of sci-fi in them, they more or less adhere to a horror movie structure. And what I mean by that is you've got a group of protagonists that you're following. You've got your main guy. You've got your Dutch. You've got your Danny Glovers, whatever.
Yeah.
But you've got your group of people that are being picked off one by this thing. And part of the appeal is, the main character is discovering what this thing is and how to possibly take it down.
Yes.
And this one takes a more kind of like, I guess, straightforward hero's journey concept with that, but uses the world of the Predator to enact those sorts of things, and like explains a lot of the culture of the Predator and like why they are so kind of like individualistic. And I think that's one of the things that was like the most effective for me, is like explaining the reasonings why in these Predator movies we only ever see like one of them, and like why they're by themselves. It's like, why don't these guys just like fucking get together and like there's armies of them?
Yeah.
And, you know, they take the people out. And it's like, no, there's like this kind of like almost like pseudo-religious kind of like spiritual aspect to it.
Yeah.
But this idea of like, you need to go out and be a man and like do it yourself as like this rite of passage.
Yep.
I think is it's a natural progression, but I think it's an interesting one.
Yeah.
And I do enjoy the fact that, at least to me, it felt like there was an attachment I had to the main character, Deck, who, doesn't speak a lick of English, is talking in this like made up language. He's like done up in this makeup, and not the only relatable face in the film, but like one of the primary figures that we're following is an entirely fictional entity that is like not even remotely close to looking human.
All CGI.
I think the costume is practical in a lot of ways, but I think I read that Dan Trachtenberg said that like every shot in this movie has like some visual effects going on.
Well, yeah. I mean,
yeah, very, very kind of like otherworldly. But I enjoy the fact that despite all of those concepts like being quite like foreign to us, it was still like translated in a way that was like, we can easily attach ourselves to what's going on. The only question is like, is that effective in like, because we've seen movies like this before, like the basic structure of it and like the hero's journey and like whatever. Is that something that we need with the Predator franchise?
So that's where it gets into this little bit of a role reversal, right? With the Predator, in terms of always being the villain. Now we're setting it up with him having his like if this continues on, this will be the origin of the Predator, right? And everything's gonna be built out past this. I don't know if I'm necessarily geeked about that direction where all of a sudden, now the Predator's turning essentially into like Batman.
Right.
We're getting this, especially if it's Deck going forward. What I won't mind is there's the Star Wars movie, Rogue One. I really liked Rogue One as it took a snippet of the Star Wars timeline, right? And we got our own set of characters from there with this moment that happens. It doesn't have to go on. It lives within the zeitgeist of Star Wars, right? It's on the timeline, but it's not necessarily something that needs to get built out past that, right? Like if they had more of those Star Wars movies come out, I think I'd be much more geeked about it, as opposed to like, hey, we're getting our own little mini series of Star Wars with like what you got with the last three. So it's an interesting kind of direction that Trachtenberg's going with the thing, where if this is a standalone film and we learn more about where these creatures are coming from, right? The predators are coming from, and now all of a sudden we're in Japan, right? And at one point someone thought that Badlands was going to be a Western. Like that's what I heard. It was going to be set out in the like 1800s, the Western frontier.
Yeah.
Frontier. That's where I kind of stand with it. In terms of being a one-off, if this is a one-off and this is just part of the canon, awesome. If this is like a new direction that we're going and now we're turning this thing into Superman because we want to build out 4 more films and get some more action figures out, like I'm going to be probably a pass.
Yeah. It's something that I would rub up against for sure.
Yeah, and that's that's the interesting thing about this one is I appreciated how the uniqueness it was going for. as you mentioned, with the hero's journey going on, and us almost having to attach ourselves to a foreign entity, something that's completely made up. I mean, we have seen it before. It's always ballsy when you do it, right? And attaching the language in there and getting the companionship going. Who knows? There's a Dinkelhoff in this thing.
There was a clear Dinkelhoff in this movie,
and that really, I mean, so if you can go into this thing and kind of shut off your brain with it saying like, all right, I'm gonna get something that's very deep and thematic, and like things out like Eddington. There's a bunch of themes in there that you can kind of hang on and discuss, right? If you go into this thing with just a bucket of popcorn and just like, hey, like let's see what's on the screen and we'll have a good time. It's a fun ride. Yeah, but like, yes, the Dinkelhoff came in there and I was like, I kind of gritted my teeth.
Yeah.
And I'm like, like really, this is where we're going? Because I think the bigger gripe we're gonna have on this is where the direction of Hollywood with these movies.
Well, I'm wondering if the only way for Dan Trachtenberg to expand the kind of lore of Predator in a way that would get people interested was to keep it a PG-13, more kind of like safe, audience appealing bet, as opposed to doing it, because Prey went straight to streaming. I don't think it had a theatrical run, and if it did, I think it was pretty limited.
I don't think it did, because I want to say it was right around COVID.
Yeah,
like this thing
it was like 2022. It was like just kind of like we're starting to get back in the swing of things, but like we've got like the safety brakes on. We're gonna just kind of roll this out, see how it goes. Mm-hmm. But I'm wondering if the only way for him to like expand upon these concepts is to keep it within that realm, that like kind of familiar realm that like people go to the movie theater to see like a blockbuster film. There's like a certain set of expectations that they have in their mind that they want to be met.
Well, so I guess the long-standing franchises that we kind of have are these superhero ones where they're transcending time. Right. A lot of what you see now, I mean, like with Batman or Spider-Man or whatever was created in the 60s still holds up today, right? We're fighting crime. We're fighting poverty. We stand up. We have principles. You have your Star Wars, the sci-fi stuff. And, you know, a lot of this stuff is kind of like almost legacy in an aspect of it. So what you're not seeing now are your Jasons, Michael Myers, your Freddys come out anymore.
Yeah.
Right. I think Alien and Predator fall in this really weird category of we didn't get our hooks in these kids when they were younger, and now we're starting to see the fallback on it. So how do we rope them back in? How are we going to engage a younger audience now if we're going to continue this on, right? And they did such a shit job in the 2000s, both franchises did, that now you're starting to see them. One, I think Predator at least trying to appeal to that younger audience, whereas Alien, I think, still appeals maybe to an older audience. But you got it. You know, the crazy thing to think about is, I mean, Predator, the original movie came out 40 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, like, I love these films because I saw it at a very young age, you know, and it was kick ass to me. And Alien, somewhat in the same appeal, but, you know, I'm probably one of a few that we talk about it, and that's why I'm curious. I think that's why he went this route. Not to say it's fun too, because there's destruction of other predators and other cyborgs.
Yeah,
right.
And it doesn't feel like the movie is like held back by the rating necessarily. And I like how creative Dan Trachtenberg went about like showing the different action scenes and like kind of not really holding back as far as like the violence itself goes. It is just funny to me how the MPAA is like, as long as these humans that are getting eviscerated aren't red-blooded,
yes,
as long as they're white-blooded androids, air quote, then it's fine if we show them getting decapitated and fucking eviscerated and
you just tell your kid, hey, that's not a human.
Yeah, that's a robot.
Like,
that goes beep boop. That's the same as your computer monitor that helps you play Fortnite.
See, there's no emotional attachment. No one's scarred from this.
You're right.
Yeah, what killed me is like the very I kind of didn't think that about this being PG-13. Mm-hmm. Because the opening sequence with the father and all that stuff, that is like grisly.
Yeah.
Like that is, there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of green blood flying about.
And it's, I mean, if if you're attached to the scene in any way, it's
Whoa,
very
interesting choice of words.
emotionally charged too.
Yeah,
because it's meant to be like, what is the term? Fratricide
Sure.
or patricide? Whenever like
thyroid.
No, I think it's patricide when a parent tries to like murder their offspring or whatever. And you literally got a scene of that where his brother basically sacrifices himself in order to save Deck from their like warlord dad.
Yeah.
And like ships him off to Genna so that he can get the Calisk. It's
But
a pretty
he didn't
harrowing.
ship him. That's where the coordinates were set for. I mean,
Right.
that's why he escapes by the skin of his teeth.
Right, but either way, it's a very kind of emotionally charged scene
Oh,
between
yeah.
like these three things that are just kind of like blarp, blarp, blarp,
I like how
blarping at
they
each
have
other.
their own language. They have a heartbeat. They're living, and it's just like, yeah, who the fuck cares if we decapitate it?
Right.
Like whatever. It doesn't exist. Now, could this happen somewhere else in the world? Maybe, but this isn't our world.
Yeah, this is a whole new adventure.
Yeah.
we want high schoolers to be able to go see this.
And honestly, I didn't think about this being PG-13 until it started going. Elle Fanning comes on, and there's a couple of like kind of like very soft entries into, all right, we could make this very dark and grisly, or we can kind of soften it up.
There's like a weird amount of whimsy in a movie that is set in the same universe as Aliens and Predator.
That and this, it's so Genna is this otherworldly planet that everything eats everything. It's everything in here is, if even in the what I really liked about it, and upset that they used it later on, but was the caterpillar, like your defense mechanism, right? Like pollen, that's why you release pollen, is so you defend yourself. And all these things on Earth kind of have their own features to protect themselves in the evolutionary chain. Whereas in this one, it's like, if you're gonna fucking kill me, I'm killing you.
Yeah.
That's like that caterpillar that just exploded. I was like, think about it, like, oh, that thing, if it gets eaten, self-destructs inside the body. So whatever killed it, it's killing that thing.
This is basically fuck you, the planet.
Oh yeah, big time.
Is basically what it translates to.
Yeah, and that's where that's where I bumped up against it a little bit. I was like, this could have been so much more fun had it been rated R, because you could have thrown more of these things. Like, you could have had a scene where he's fighting something else, and all of a sudden something bigger comes, and they look at each other, and now they're running against this thing, right? And it's like, I got to kill you, but I also got to kill that guy, so we'll work together, and then I'm going to take that thing out. And instead of going that route, they pair it up, and there's some deception and mischievousness about it, and logic, and yeah. But given what it was going for, I think it did nail that. So that's where in my head, I'm like, all right, I can't put it against the original, right?
It's hard to compare.
It's just very different story, so you have to accept it. Now, I think where people probably will get frustrated with this thing is going into this and having that be the carpet that gets pulled out from under your feet, and I think that's where a lot of probably the frustration would come from, is having this otherworldly ultimate killer all of a sudden have to develop a soft spot, and you're looking at it. But I do applaud it in that regard, because like we get a lot of the toxicness from the culture, and we get we see the dad kills his son, and then he's telling him he's weak, and he's like, but you're still weak, I'm killing you too, I'll just make another one of you, right? Like, so you get to see a little bit of the emotional connection, and these things being able to decipher, essentially being sentient, or at least owning up to the emotionality, which, once again, too, I guess it makes it more of a human than anything else.
Well, I think that the core of what this movie is going for, which I think ultimately works, is the parallels of what you are supposedly meant to do versus what you should do.
Yes.
So, like, what Deck is meant to do is to go kill the Calisk. What the androids are meant to do is to get the Calisk so that they can study it, get the healing properties for the sake of humanity, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
And what Tessa's mission, which is
Thea and Tessa?
Thea and Tessa.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think she was Thea.
Thea, that's right.
Yeah.
Got all sorts of the names.
The
mixed
half
up.
one is Thea.
Yes, the one without legs. Thea's mission is basically the same as the other androids, but she is given the ability of understanding and feeling, right? I think that's how they explain it.
There's two things in here that I'm just like, that's ballsy, and like we're just not going to even worry about it.
Yeah. There's some light hand waving that's going on.
Hey, we're going to make you the special one. Mm-hmm. Just you. Two, I can understand any universal language. Let me program it. Okay, I got you. You know, Yahadi or Yahada. Yotja.
Yautai.
Yautai. Those were two things that I just like, wow. Just, hey, you know, who cares?
Yeah,
we're
right.
just going to put it in here. And just the audience is going to accept it or they won't. Mm-hmm. And by the time it's over, everyone will have forgotten we even like did this.
Yeah. But anyway, the sort of like emotional parallels of that as like a story arc between those two characters is just inherently fascinating to me. I will say I'm not sure I entirely loved the kind of like smirky nature of Elle Fanning's dialogue.
Really?
Throughout the movie. Yeah, it felt quite, and I feel like the MCU has just kind of like ruined how people talk to each other in movies. I think just a little bit.
She's an android.
I know, but she's an android who just happens to like, I don't know, have a sense of humor and like this personality that's just kind of like, aw, gee, shucks, look at me. Like,
I mean, if you were gonna take like program a machine that you're trying to make personable, I think that's where you start at. You take 1950s soda pop girl,
yeah,
you know, and you're gonna be very innocent to the world.
I guess to me that's just sort of representative of the movie's tonal shift compared to like the other entries in the franchise. Not to like totally compare it all.
See, that's where you gotta be careful.
But I don't know. It's the thing I keep asking myself of like, how much of this do I need it to be grounded, and how much of it benefits from it being as like kind of fun and lighthearted as it is being. You know?
Yeah, the grounding part's tough.
Yeah,
that one. I think that's just between the environment, the world, and the character that we're all with, right? Like, how are you gonna ground it?
Yeah,
right. And I think they try to do it a little bit with the emotionality aspect of it, and making it more relatable to us as viewers with what's going on, and being able, like, the whole, you know, the wolf, the you know, all that stuff, the alpha, and yeah. I didn't have a problem with her though. I thought that was sweet relief.
I liked her performance. I thought Elle Fanning did a good job in her delivery, in her portrayal.
I like the chemistry that they had with all that. I mean, it's a misfit crew, right? Mm-hmm. And I didn't have an issue with how she was being presented or what she was doing. And I was like, you know what? Without her in this thing is probably really freaking dry.
Yeah.
Like, if you think about it, like if she's not half of the personality that she has, and it's literally the android with Deck, who is, you know, essentially the mind of a fifth grader but the body of a Greek god.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's gonna be it won't be great. I think she needed to have that personality and that the performance that she gave, just to make it still interesting. Because I will say, at the end of the day, you remove her from it, you're watching a hero's journey with an alien trying to take out a regenerative giant monster. And like, yeah, I don't know.
Right. How much sauce can you have with a bare bones thing like that?
Right. Thank you. And, you know, and you're not really getting it's not even, that's what killed me too. Like, that's not even the main conflict of the film, mm-hmm. which is where I was like, man, you know, we're straying away here. But as you mentioned, you know, figuring out what's the right thing to do being the ultimate goal, and, you know, that family and connection and actually developing a bond between other things takes a little bit more precedence than the action itself. But
mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, speaking of the action itself, I thought that was, you know, very well made. I like the effects quite a bit. I thought it was pretty consistent. Mm-hmm. This movie had a budget of, I think, $105 million. So,
oh, really?
Like, bit on the higher end, but I think
I feel like that's kind of like, if you're talking blockbuster,
it's a little kind of on the lower side nowadays.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
With like a very like effects heavy movie that's set on another planet.
Yeah,
with like aliens and.
He said there's everything. There's a visual and everything. Like that's what you mentioned. Like that, I gotta imagine that's costly.
Yeah, they probably saved money on hiring actors because I think, like you said, Elle Fanning is the biggest name in this movie.
Good point.
Well, I appreciate the fact that there is no kind of that's something that you sort of I guess for the benefit of the story kind of lose with having it be this type of structure.
Yeah,
because any other Predator movie, it's like, all right, what face can we get on the poster so that we can put asses in seats and sell them? How do we get people in the theater to see Arnold Schwarzenegger? Adrian Brody, he won an Oscar, right? Slap his face on there.
Yeah, have him be a Green Beret.
And so I appreciate the fact that
little noodle arm hanging off his body.
Not only is that something that like we don't have to really worry or think about, these characters are being portrayed by actual stunt performers, and we get to see that translated in the choreography.
Yeah,
obviously, like effects heavy movie. How much of this is actually like translated into like real stunt work? But I think there's enough that you can tell where like, yeah, they're actually putting in like the work and the effort to get these guys in these suits and, this like CGI rig or whatever they got going on, putting in the actual work,
Yeah. No, I'm with it. The action in this thing is not, it's not a 10 out of 10 for me, but it's not like it's
not
boring,
perfect.
right?
Yeah.
It's part of the recipe, and it does a good job maintaining.
It's refreshing to see after watching Running Man, a movie that is kind of incomprehensible in its action editing and choreography,
all the cuts and shit.
It's crazy. It's crazy how we're not going to talk about Running Man this episode, but the comparison between the two, it's like night and day.
Yeah, and that's. I think that's what makes this movie enjoyable too. Like that, there are probably things that you can't put your finger on or quite. I mean, obviously we can sit here and explain it or at least talk about our thoughts on it. But like watching it, going down, having. So I will say from my experience with it, right? Mm-hmm. My expectations of this thing was that he was going in. I know he gets met up with Elle Fanning. I don't really know what the Calisk is or how deadly of a fight this is. And to kind of have it go the direction it did, definitely, swept me off my. Not swept me off my feet, but pulled the rug out from under me. But because of the action and like how you're talking about, there's an element. Well, I shouldn't say element. Two directions you could go. One, we're gonna have all these cut scenes. We're gonna have all this editing going on. It's gonna be totally incomprehensible on what's happening. Right, or you go the route that this one did, and you put in a little bit of effort. You take these stuntmen, these choreographers, and you put some action in there and make it almost believable.
Yeah,
and I think, especially given the environment that we're in and where we're watching this and the unbelievability of all of it, it's a tip of the cap for it in that regard.
I think it just shows that like when you have a solid story like this, solid enough for people to get behind it and believe it and attach themselves to it and invest in not only like the money but the work that it takes to get these visual effects and like this choreography and like all the different technical components to gel together. Mm-hmm. I think it's a proof of concept for a successful blockbuster movie. I mean, this movie is making an okay amount of money in a season that, seems to have been a bit of a slump for films in the last couple of months.
Yeah.
Where we see like, disappointing box office after disappointing box office. It's nice to see the work that is put into a film such as this be rewarded in a way that feels like, oh yeah, this is like well earned. This isn't just like some stupid schlocky Jurassic World bullshit where it's like, yeah, we can put dinosaurs on screen and like everybody will go see it.
Yeah.
This is kind of a big ask for people who are going to the movies to see a blockbuster film, but you're trying to sell them on the concept of like, yeah, the Predator is the good guy.
Yeah.
Like this is the one you're following. This guy who throughout iconic film history, you've been taught to think of as like this is a bad motherfucker that we've got to like try to fight and kill.
Yep.
The whole thing of like, if it bleeds, we can kill it.
Yep.
Applies to this creature right here. Now you got to root for him.
Yep.
It's like, cool. I'm glad that people are like willing to like give it that level of credit.
Yes. I'm that's what I'm saying. I thought it was a very unique. One thing I like is when people will hop into like this. I will go back to Rogue One. But when you can hop into a universe, you can pull something off the timeline and say, hey, we're going to live in this moment right here. Obviously, this isn't, it impacts the story somewhere else, right? At least in the regards to Rogue One. But like these characters, this is the only time you're going to see them. It's kind of ballsy to say, hey, like this isn't this will be a standalone film. We're just going to enjoy it. We're going to have the Star Wars name behind it, but we're not getting lightsabers and all that type of shit going on with it, right? That you're accustomed to with the film and talking about Predator. Having this creature, you know, that's otherworldly that you can't stop having to be it, to take it as a standalone film. I think where I'm going to get a little bit annoyed, and it's for time to tell, is if this is the direction that we're going now, you know?
Yeah.
If this is part of the, hey, we're now building this up into being. It reminded me a little bit of King Kong and Godzilla.
Yeah,
you know, where you've got these enemies of this, you know, unbelievable nature, and hey, we're gonna take it, and instead of here's the destruction of humanity, and we got to take this creature down. Now they're starting to like they're working together. They're trying to figure out how to take down other villains, and this thing that you were rooting for in the unstoppable force is now all of a sudden on our that's very annoying. So if that's the direction that they're going, I probably won't sign up for that. Like,
yeah.
I'm definitely going to see a second film, but like if it's more of this, which they do allude to,
there's this weird kind of like worrying insistence that studios have with franchises specifically, where it's like mandatory continuum.
Oh God!
It's like we have to have these things connect, and not just like the universe, but also the characters. We got to have like the same people come back because we want marketability. We want people to be able to follow a through line with this, and that is one thing that I'm hoping that Dan Trachtenberg is able to get away from, is to just say, you know, if I want to make a Western movie, I can make a Western movie, but set it in the Predator universe.
Yeah.
Have my own flavor with it, because it's clearly something that he's passionate about.
Yeah.
It's just that if they ever decide to do Predator Badlands 2, Badderlands or whatever, it's like, okay, well, we're just kind of like taking this guy away from the things that he could be doing and like putting the energy into. Instead, we're just kind of having him rehash and revisit the same old shit over and over again. It's why a lot of these franchises have died out already.
Oh yeah. Everyone, like, I think it's, you know, streaming's becoming, I don't want to say a problem with creativity, but it's definitely
You
like,
can say that. I think it's warranted.
Okay, like you're getting these fucking producers in these film houses. You know, the A24 is such a great example that they're like, if we like the idea, we're gonna throw it out there. Blumhouse, right?
Neon.
Yeah, Neon, right? Like if we got a good story, hey, we're gonna follow that. You're passionate about this project, let's follow that. Let's not have this thing where it's like, hey, you've you know, artwork. Why can't I not think of the name of it? This whole thing out for the next 3 movies. All right, we're gonna have this going on. He's the good guy. Let's figure out how we can make this kind of schmaltzy. Make sure that it connects with 4 different age groups. We gotta make sure that there's some emotional attachment in here. Also, it can't be too violent. Let's get something soft in here, peddled in. So if we bring a young kid in, they actually have something that they can grab on. You know, and these fucking streaming and all this content that's readily available, everything's got to have like the next coin, right? Like, hey, put a quarter and you're going to view Predator Badlands. Hey, put another quarter and you're going to get a little bit more of it, right? Put another quarter and you're going to get a little bit more of that one. And you just get this diluted shit that eventually just gets to you. And that's why everyone it just fails at some point, because you finally get to the point where everyone's been so lazy with their writing.
Even the people who think that they want the same thing over and over again will eventually get tired of it. And that's how these sort of things just kind of like overstay their welcome and die out. There are certain streaming service movie studios that will have a weirdly kind of like mandated guideline system for filmmakers and directors to adhere by if they want to get their movie made on that streaming service. I'm pretty sure Netflix is one of them, where it's like, if you want a movie on our platform, you have to follow this template. Otherwise, you can look somewhere else.
Dude, because they went through the fucking algorithm and said, this is what hits. These are the marks that hit. If you're making a thriller, it's got to be like this, this, and this. We have to have this in here, right? And so what sucks too is if you're a filmmaker and you want some money, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You're going to take your chance on selling it to Neon, to A24?
More than likely,
else?
you're going to take the safe option and play ball.
Yeah.
And do whatever it is within that guideline so that you can at least get something made.
Yeah. And
maybe even make a little money along the way.
That's what I'm like, hey, it's a proven formula, you know? So, or what are we, hopping in the machine, or are we going to come out and try to be fucking ballsy? And, you know, Trash and Bird, like, I think it's dabbling, right? And that's where like Prey came out, and that was the introduction. So this is where like in my like, all right, strategy of a human being, right? Prey comes out, he's like, passion project, wanted to do this. I think it'd be so fun to hit, you know, Predator and just these different fucking timelines or parts of the world, right? We could take him, we'll put him in, you know, and that was what, the 1800s, 1700s with the Native Americans, right? Hey, let's think of another one where it's like 35, you know, like let's get futuristic Predator going. Like if that's like somewhat of the anthology, I have to imagine, right? With the Killer of Killers, we just make full blown movies out of it. Totally on board with that. If he took Prey to say, hey, I can revitalize this franchise and we can make it somewhat softcore, relatable, we're going to be able to get asses in seats and I can get a little bit of what I want to have in there going on, that's where I'm going to get annoyed. So that's right. With this film, with like I keep mentioning standalone.
It feels like it's right on that border of like, how much of this should I be rewarding versus like, how much of this is the studio system saying like, all right, are you able to like stay within these parameters? Can you prove yourself to be like a big blockbuster director?
Yeah.
Because if so, then hey, it's game on, and you can keep making these for however long we need you to.
Yeah, that's so, and that's where this one's fascinating because it's unique and creative enough to where you can say, all right, like he got what he wanted out there, and he's still kind of hitting some of the stuff. Which, if that's the case, I'll probably live with it. You know, I don't think these things will ever be great or Oscar worthy or something where you're talking to your kids about, but entertaining and fun, sure. Like making a good $10, you know, for 2 hours time, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, but if he goes in the route of like, hey, guess what, Dak, now we got to take on the mom, wait till he finds out about his uncle. Also, we're going to have him escape in the fourth one, and he's going to go to, you know, future Earth. Wait till we do that up. And then we have lightsabers in there. Sick. Like, fucking, like, I'm good.
I think that's kind of part of the reason why I sort of struggled at the beginning of this discussion to, like, pinpoint what exactly I wanted to talk about first. Because after watching the movie, I'm like, yeah, this is a fun time. Like, what more do you want from me?
Right.
Like, this is a solid entry in the franchise that has some like kind of fresh, interesting ideas within the framework of like something that is quite familiar to us already.
Yep.
And I don't know, like what more is there to it than that?
Not much. It's more so the gripe of where Hollywood and cinema's going. Because I think there are movies that fall on your plate sometimes. Like even Superman coming out, I thought was great, and I'm not going to give anything away about that. But like even watching that one, I was like, feels like James Gunn's still he's getting pinched on this. You know, he can't completely dabble into what he wants to do, but he'll follow. Hey, if you operate in this corridor and you just bounce off the walls, as long as you don't break through, you're good.
Yeah,
you know. And this movie felt more of that ilk, and it's like, how safe can we be, and how much do we have to be able to be in terms of relatability or with these emotional connections, you know, that we're going to flip this on its head. Like, was this creative and was it unique, or was this something where they said, hey, guess what? Like, you can't make it all action-packed.
I think this movie to me felt a little more constrained than Superman.
Oh, without it, there's a way more. This the fucking Dinkelhoff, man. I mean, and I get Superman's got a fucking dog, but like at least it's a dog. This thing came out of nowhere, and I'm like, when that thing popped on screen, I was like, all right, like hopefully this is just the one-off. Hopefully this is just like, and then you can kind of tell, oh shit, it's starting to embed itself into the story. You know?
Well, and then they kind of like retroactively make that character a little more important, or like give it more importance with the fact that like, oh, it's the daughter of the Callisk.
Yeah.
And like now it's like a mission to rescue her mom or whatever.
Yeah, like,
and it's like, okay, we're putting more meaning on this character than just it being the Dinkelhoff in an attempt that feels like a little bit heavy-handed.
Yes.
Just kind of like out of nowhere.
yeah.
But I don't know. If it works for you, it works for you.
Dude,
If it stands out very obviously like it does to you and me, then it's like, well, it's something you got to reckon with, I guess.
yeah, and it doesn't all that being said, it doesn't take away from like the enjoyment of the film, and that's where I
Oh, yeah, I still had a fun time.
and I think the frustration is a little bit of we have, like you said, I mean, the recipe's already there. The meal's been created, right? You have the Predator, and you can plug and play whatever you want in here. Figure out a deeper meaning, like they did in Prey, right? Like take what you did in Prey and figure out how to exploit that. Like, let's still get this like kick-ass entity that can't be stopped. We have to figure it out. We have to go through all these things, and then just come up with your fun different ways, like Final Destination does with all their kills, right? Like, figure out different ways to. And they tried doing this once again. This is where I got annoyed with this thing too. Is like, hey, we're gonna get the sea lamprey, the exploding caterpillar, and some of the fucking sterilizing things, and he's gonna come up with his own body armor of the environment, And it's just like, okay, we are teetering on too much.
Yeah.
Like and that's where this gets, the caveat is it's a one-off. So you get to do everything you want with that. But like my fear is now this is the mold and this is what we're going to follow with the next one. So the next one will come out and it's more of deck. And now all of a sudden he's going to use what he's on the Predatopolis,
Yeah.
And so that's the fear.
Yeah. I mean, we can see where it goes from here. One thing that I will say about Prey and Killer of Killers that I think is something that I hope Dan Trachtenberg kind of like returns to form to, that's sort of lost in this movie, is the interweaving of interpersonal conflict and relationships with the characters that we follow.
Yes.
So like a lot of Prey, that character, I forget the actress's name. It's like something Mid-Thunder, but
yes.
Her character is introduced with the sort of like personal struggles of her tribe. She's like, trying to kind of like branch out on her own. And like that idea up against like the concept of fighting the Predator is a fascinating one for me to explore.
It's a little bit of like the glass ceiling with
Yeah.
her, right? Like it's, hey, you can't be a huntress.
Yeah.
Like this is your role in our community.
All right. It's a little shallow, but I think it's effective in what it's trying to mesh together.
Yes.
And the anthology storylines in Killer of Killers, I think, has a lot of that element too. There's like kind of like a sort of Viking story where it's like coming of age, like kind of grow up and be a man sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's like there's like a World War II one where it's like, I'm a hot shot pilot, but am I really like hot shit enough for this? Like, am I actually like really scared underneath? These interpersonal conflicts that like these characters overcome through the actions of like fighting the Predator is fascinating to me.
Yeah.
And you don't really get that with this, with the nature of it being following the Predator character.
Yes.
As like the main protagonist. I don't know. I'm hoping that that's something that he doesn't lose touch of with the next movie. It's like that kind of, and I don't mean to say human as like literally human, but like that human element of like this emotional conflict being able to.
Yeah, there's a little bit in this one with him and
a little bit,
being the run of the litter. And,
it's sort of fast tracked at the beginning with the death of his brother, but I think for first and foremost, Dan Trachtenberg kind of just needs to focus on that.
Yes,
as like, this is the core of what makes these movies special, and how I can make them even more special with my rich understanding of their world.
Yeah, I agree.
Shall we get into ratings?
Yeah, we should.
For Predator Badlands. I think I'm going first. So this was a fun watch in the theater. I liked a lot of what I experienced on a technical level. Thought the special effects, the choreography, the sound design was a lot of fun. Very fun to watch this in a theater with the sound system. Elle Fanning I thought was charming. I like how she seemed to pretty effortlessly play two different characters who they essentially look the same, but they are vastly different in behavior. And I like that I was able to just easily tell the characterizations of that. I enjoy the performance from, I'm going to try to say his name.
Oh,
so forgive
Dex.
me. Demetrius Schuster Kalamantagi. I don't think I had as hard of a time with that as I thought I would, but I probably butchered it in some way still.
Yeah.
Liked his portrayal of the character. Liked that we follow this storyline in a fresh new way, but it does have a lot of familiarity to it as far as just like blockbuster filmmaking, kind of where movies are headed towards, like this sort of comic bookization of everything, where like everything feels like it needs to be a superhero movie, or it feels like it needs to be like a franchise starter that leads into something else. And whether or not it does, we'll see. Where Dan Trachtenberg goes from here will be very telling. But this was a solid time that I enjoyed in the theater. This is a 7 out of 10.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. I don't know if I'll be able to say my summary or summation as eloquently as that.
Normally I don't. Normally I just babble out some shit.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. No, positives, right? Fun time. Entertaining as hell. The choreo, I don't know if I want to say choreography, but like what you're seeing on the screen, very believable. Genna, the Predator, like I don't think there's ever one moment where you're kind of catching that this thing looks fake, if you will. I mean, the whole time we're with this thing without its mask on, and you can't help but like try to count how many pimples are on its face. You know, like that's the in-depth artwork visualization of all this. I really like that element of being able to kind of forget that I am watching a movie. You know, sound design fantastic. Some of the weapon choices were really fun. Negatives, very softballed in there, like tonal shifts left and right. You have the movie starts out with such a thunderous take on where we could possibly be going, only to make a hard shift into a family direction. And you know, not to say it took me out, like I said, like we've talked about, like I like the choice with it. I thought it was very unique, as creative. It makes me fear future movies to come. Also with this thing too, though, I just don't know how memorable it's going to be, you know, and that's one of the things that we talk about with movies is one, rewatchability, and two, kind of where's it going to sit at in terms of when we're done with it? How do you digest it? You know, when the marinade hits, like, is it really going to hit you hard? And this one isn't. I said it's visual eye candy. It does a good job of being that way. You know, it's a very good ice cream scoop that you got. It's delicious, but like when you're done with it, you're not thinking like, man, how'd they make that? You know, so I had this as an 8 out of 10, but I just knocked it down to a 7 because of all that stuff. Like when this thing hits streaming, I don't think I'm gonna be like, man, you know what sounds good right now? Predator Badlands. Like, I'm just going to, like, let's sit back and enjoy that.
Itching to show people that one.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Dude, and what's funny, and not, like, we won't talk about it, but I think I would much rather watch Eddington a second time. And I probably will at some point.
I'm not going to lie, dude. I would watch Eddington right now.
Yeah. Like, I will, one battle after another. I cannot wait until that thing hits streaming, right? Yeah. Like, these are movies that, hey, let me get more of that.
Have you seen Begonia yet?
Not yet.
Just out of curiosity. I would love it if I could talk to you about Begonia.
Interesting.
Yeah. Very, I shouldn't say comparable, but made me think a lot of the same thoughts I had with Eddington.
Yeah, I mean, I get that feel of it.
Mm-hmm. Good old Yorgos is at it again.
Yeah.
Speaking of funny pronounced names.
Oh.
I recommended a movie.
Yes, you did.
That pretty emblematic of the time of the year. You know, I tried to line it up in a way that matched with the season. So here in Michigan, and I don't know if it's similar to the state that you live in, if you live in a different area
or country.
It is rifle season. It's hunting season.
Yeah.
Deer hunting season right now.
Boom.
Going out into the woods with that camo and that deer piss, sitting in the tree stand for 6 hours looking at green.
Hungover.
Might see something moving in the woods. You better hope that you're not Dick Cheney. Rest in peace.
Wow.
Actually, rest in piss. He was a horrible person. Anyway,
Vice.
I recommended Escanaba into Moonlight, directed and written and starring Jeff Daniels, who I think other than Harvey Presnell is like the most recognizable name in this.
It's only those two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody else is like from his theater company. He has a theater company in Chelsea, Michigan.
I just read up on this.
Yep, Purple Rose Theater.
Yeah.
So it's like a comedy troupe that he himself has like kind of helped bring up, and a lot of the performances in this movie come from guys who cut their teeth in that theater troupe.
Just gives me a little bit more respect for Jeff.
You know, there's a lot that I admire about this movie that I'm excited to get into. But
yeah,
essentially, this is a very kind of indie film.
Very much.
Came out 2001, and the basic premise is Ruben Sodi, who is portrayed by Daniels, is on the eve of becoming the oldest member of the Sodi family to not bag a buck during hunting season.
Yeah.
I think it's his uncle Albert who holds the record for being the oldest at the age of 43.
Ripe old age of 43.
Ruben is 43 at the time of this movie. And so if he doesn't bag a buck, he will go down in Sodi history as the oldest member of the family to not get a deer.
The running log.
Yep. They got the running log. And the word of the log is sacred.
Yeah.
That's basically better than any other like spiritually written text or like whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
Any official government document.
Yep.
This is where it matters.
Yes.
And it's him, his brother Remnar, his father Albert, who was the narrator of the film, and then you've got the Jimmer Monogamy from Menominee.
Yes,
I believe. If I butchered that, I'm sorry. I'm not a real Michigander, I guess.
It's okay. Menominee's a real place.
They are later joined by a DNR officer, but that's about halfway through the movie.
I don't know why that guy showed up.
Well, maybe we can try to explore it.
Yes,
but essentially, there's a belief that they might be cursed because they are hunting with Ruben, who is so mocked and so bad at hunting. But as the night unfolds, he gets in touch with some sort of spiritual element that
the bear walker
that may or may not help him along his journey.
Yeah,
and I think that's the best way I can describe that without getting into the nitty gritty of it. So, spoiler alert for Escanaba in Da Moonlight, and yes, it is Da Moonlight, not The Moonlight.
The Moonlight.
If you're gonna type that in, not gonna come up on Google.
Yeah. What film are you talking about?
Yeah, Bing's gonna be like, excuse you.
Yeah,
this doesn't exist. No results.
You're an idiot.
Yeah,
go
you
to
should
hell.
Die.
Yeah.
Fucking
See
moron.
you later. Wow. Way to be illiterate.
Yeah. Go back to fucking first grade, you filthy bitch. Anyway. So this is one of the rare instances where I have seen this movie before and you have not. This is your first time watching.
You've seen this before?
So my friends would reference this all the time. Back in like 2018, 2019.
Oh.
I think when, we were first starting to hang out and like get into Dungeons and Dragons, and we kind of just would like watch movies together, shoot the shit. My friends would always reference Escanaba and the Moonlight. Not like any specific scene or line, just the movie itself.
Yes.
And like watching it.
Yep.
And I think I told them like I'd never seen it before. I think I had a shirt that had was from Escanaba. Because, I've been to the UP a few times.
Humble brag.
And if you're not living in Michigan, what the UP is the Upper Peninsula of the state of Michigan. So
which makes us unique.
There's two different peninsulas. We live in the LP. This movie takes place in the UP. But anyway, I had a shirt from there. And I think Gideon was the one who asked me, like, oh, have you seen Escanaba into Moonlight? And I'm like, no, what is that? Had never heard of it before.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you have that shirt and you don't know what that movie is? Oh, we're watching it. And so we got a few of our friends together. We watched this movie. I didn't really know what to expect. I thought it was going to be more of a straightforward comedy, like a Judd Apatow comedy about like how this guy sucks at hunting.
That's what I
and
thought
how
too.
Like wacky hijinks would ensue.
Yep.
And there's
some
wacky hijinks
for sure,
but in a way that's more like, I don't know, Michigan David Lynchian hijinks, like kind of surreal thriller. Evil Dead. There was a review I saw on Letterboxd that basically said this is Evil Dead but for Youpers. And I think that's a pretty apt description.
This movie is baked in Michigan.
Yes.
I mean, like, it is, it's an inside joke.
It's baked in Michigan while it also feels like it's sort of poking fun at it.
Yeah,
I mean, sort of. It's absolutely poking fun at it.
Without a doubt. But I mean, it's also that's the self-referential part of all that, right?
Yeah.
Being able to say, hey, this is our type of people. This is who we are. This is what we do.
Yeah.
And then to put it out there in film form and just really just go ham with it. Because you got Jeff Daniels, dude. He was in California making Speed 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? He's from Michigan. He's he's been to the UP.
This movie came out after Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, so he definitely has a very much of like, I can look back and say like I'm proud to be who I am, but also like some of this is either bad shit insane or just really fun to think about, because like how many people live their lives under superstition, especially when it comes to like, hey, you're gonna kill a deer, but also if you've ever talked to a hunter, you know how challenging that is, and if you don't get one, like what it kind of entails. So this is like, you know, just the whole premise of being cursed, like on cocaine.
Yeah, there's lots of different aspects of Michigan culture that this movie's touching on. The one that I think I'm like most interested in discussing, and we'll discuss the other factors as we continue, is hunting culture in general.
Yeah,
I grew up in a family that would, you know, the male members of it would regularly go, and we have a cabin, or I should say we had a cabin. I think we're closing on the sale of it soon.
Humble brag.
No, it's kind of a sticky situation.
Oh, never mind.
But kind of, we'll mark a stain on the family legacy in a way. But anyway, my family would go up there, and you know they'd bring their rifles, they'd bring their guns, they'd bring their camo. And they would just find a tree stand on their property in the middle of the woods, and they would just, you know, sit out there. Sometimes they'd see a deer. A lot of the times they wouldn't.
Yep.
And it is this very common thing in Michigan specifically, and I'm sure other states too, but like our state specifically has like, you know, there's almost like an expectation of like certain people who go hunting to just like take time out of the year just to do it, like take time off work, or like, I knew kids who were in high school who would take just like a week off from school because they would just go hunting with their dad. Yeah,
well, I was coaching at Ravenna. We both years, you know, we won in the playoffs, and then you know we had our second game, and every time we won our first game, getting ready for the second game, it was because you got bow season and then you got gun season, I guess. You can tell I hunt.
Bow season, I think, is like in October. And then rifle season is the next month in November. Yeah, and
it was always like just you know, the hush hush under, you know, in the rumor, in the grapevine, you know, like if we win, what are we gonna, you know? I just remember thinking like, is it that fucking big of a deal? You know, but it really is. It's not to say rite of passage, but it's definitely like, yeah, maybe kind of rite of passage. I don't know. I don't want to keep on the theme with what we're.
Yeah, I think you're right in that there's this element, and I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. There's this element of like establishing a certain level of manhood.
Oh yeah, like one of the things that cracked me up is when he's in front of the football stands and everyone's booing him, and then on the scoreboard behind him it says "Real Men," and it's just a ticker going up because you know they're bagging deer. Mm-hmm. It says Reuben 0.
Yeah. There's like this interesting facet to hunting culture in general of, you know, we can look at it from like a sporting angle. Like we can go out with our guns and like we view this as like kind of a thrilling thing. Like this is something that we just do for fun. Competition and like, I don't know, just like the thrill of the hunt is enough to get me out into the woods and go look for that buck, you know?
Yeah.
But the other element too is this sort of thing that I think this movie does a smart job of going about, which is like this, you know, expectation of air quotes manhood
Yep.
and like what it means to like be a male, be a strapping young heterosexual male who will go out and bag a deer, make his first kill, and like
Get out the liver and onions.
Right.
I'm gonna bag a buck.
This idea that like you are going to be a man and provide for your family, which I mean, obviously in like the 21st century is like kind of a silly notion because we have all these different ways of accessing food and like growing things and like ideas of like what health is in general.
Yeah, it's very metaphorical.
Right. But at the same time, one of the things I appreciate about this movie the most is how it seems to go about it more so as a way of how Jeff Daniels' character views himself, how Ruben views himself.
Yeah.
As opposed to like how his dad views him or how his brother views him.
He's not doing it for them.
No, and like they don't have like this expectation of him. They just want him to overcome it for himself. Like throughout the movie, like his dad is pretty supportive of like, oh, don't worry, you're gonna get it one day. Like,
yeah,
there's like no conflict, there's no pressure. His dad's not like chastising him for not getting a buck.
Yeah, he didn't lock him in the closet, and so you're sitting there, until you're going out,
What a disappointment you are.
Yeah, there's that. Now he gets mocked relentlessly for it, and I think that's part of the humor, and maybe that is like a Michigan culture thing of like, hey, we love you, we're gonna be tough on you, we're gonna give you all this shit, but at the end of the day, we want to see you succeed. This is part of your evolution as a person.
I think to me, Jeff Daniels was sort of satirizing how much kind of cultural pressure people either put on themselves or like other people as far as like hunting or participating in these things that like are perceived as manly, right?
So let me, as we're going along, and I don't know if you read this or not. I happened to catch it, but this is he wrote a play.
Yes, and
this is based off that play. And when you put it in that framework, all of this makes sense on the writing and how this was all portrayed.
Yeah.
Right?
Because you have to be a little bit, if this is like a stage play and you're watching this take place in like the limited format that it is, you have to be a little bit more metaphorical about like how these cultural perceptions are being depicted. Obviously in the movie it's quite literal. He's got like a bus full of children laughing at him because he hasn't bagged a deer yet.
There's more of a comedic element behind it, right? All playing into his psyche about where do I sit amongst my peers and even in this community.
Right. Whereas like the original format of the stage play is like, this is pretty introspective of like not only Ruben's character, but just like how he perceives this cultural aspect of Michigan and like the UP specifically.
Yeah, and it is a little bit culture based. I mean, he I think what's fascinating about it, and that you can see it with, I mean, it happens to everyone, but like this, it's not necessarily the fear of failure. It's the, am I a failure, right? Like, what am I doing right now that and some people What I did like about all the characters in this thing is that they all loved him, supported him. You could see he was a peg down in terms of their eyes on how they approached him, right? Yeah. And I think that was also what he was aiming to earn. One, to get over the hump with all this shit, but two, to say like he's a family man. He's got 2 kids. He supports his family, right? He's got in terms of his own family. And then you talk about, his blood, the lifeline, dad, pops, the brother, and all that stuff. They all have a very good connection. But you could see that it's just, for him, it almost felt like he was placing himself like on a lower rung compared to everyone else. Mm-hmm. And yes, a lot of this is maybe it's not necessarily just bagging the deer, but also maybe just the acceptance of, where. I don't know if I want to say acceptance, but getting your own psyche over that, right?
Yeah, a lot of this movie is like the sort of him overcoming the psychological barrier of like, what it is, like how he perceives himself, but also just like what he needs to do in order to get to where he wants to be. Because like before the events of the movie, you can kind of infer that like, this is just my place.
Yes.
This is just how I exist.
My lot in life.
Yep. And I'm not going to like fight against it too much. This is just sort of like what it is. And this movie is a lot of like coming to terms with that and overcoming it in a way that feels healthy in a way, even though this movie, and we're gonna get into it, this movie's weird as fuck,
dude.
This is a weird shit movie. Not like shit as in bad quality, but like just bonkers ass stuff happening.
Yeah,
like most of the runtime.
I mean, dude, it made so much more sense when I read this was based off a play, because there are so many elements or the points in this movie. It's just people sitting around laughing or running or like
screaming,
no dialogue,
farting,
going on whatsoever. Like we just have to kill it with the environment that we're in. And I was like, maybe it's an ode to being in hunting season or in your deer cabin or at deer camp, and this is kind of like what happens there. Or maybe it's just because they didn't know what the fuck to do, and it's just we're filling up space with as much as we can. Mm-hmm. Yes, this is a full. So talking with Sam, all right, talking with my brother. We he listened to Dracula and we were laughing about that, and he said, "What's next?" I told him this one. He goes, "Oh my god," he's like, the ultimate deer camp movie ever made, right? And I was like, yeah, this is almost like this. Watching this movie at deer camp is almost a rite of passage, like at this point now in life, right? Like I was joking with a coworker today, but I said every deer camp, if it has a VHS player and a TV, owns this movie. Like this is there, and you have to watch it at some point, whether it's Friday night getting hammered or Saturday morning waking up with the hangover and drinking your eggs. Like it's gonna be on at some point. The movie itself has its own mythos around it. I am 35. This came out in 2001. Because of how much this has been talked about, discussed, bandied around, normal conversation, I thought this thing came out in 93. Like I was in my head like, this is how old this movie is.
It feels so much older than it actually is.
But and it's a testament to this thing becoming its own folklore legend of a movie, right? Like that's why those stories, like if you talk about something that was so epic happening back in 2004, people feel like that had to have happened in the 90s because there's so much momentum built up around it, right? It couldn't have been that recent. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where I give this movie some props. And it kind of holds up to that standard. It's bonkers. It's absolutely bonkers.
Well, it quite leans into, and this isn't something that I thought of like the first time I watched it, but just like really kind of recognized the second time, is it leans very heavily into kind of like that Michigan folklore and like sense of superstition.
Oh, yes. I mean,
especially when it comes to like, because hunting culture, I think, has sort of like similarly to sports culture, a level of superstition. And maybe you can corroborate on this because you know more about sports than I do. But there's like this level of like, I don't entirely believe every superstition I come across, but I'm still going to practice it anyway just because that's what it is now within the culture of it, right?
Yeah, dude, it's in Everybody Wants Some.
Yeah.
I can't think of the guy, the famous recruiter for the Reds. There's a guy painting. He's like, "Oh, do you see? You see Chet? Where's he at? Oh yeah, spotted him. It's a guy who's painting a house just across the horizon. Yeah, like for us, on the football team, with the football team, the coaching staff, I'd always joke around like it's like you're playing it off, and to me, it's almost like you get into a routine, right? And it's part of your regiment, and that way you can kind of autonomously do other things. But before kickoff, I'd always go down to a certain hash. I'd have a D-line coach go down to a different part of the hash, and we'd always get on the headset and we're talking about it. Hey, remember, you got to go here, you got to go, and it's like a butterfly effect, right? Yeah. If I don't do it, the outcome of the game, I will be able to look at like these events and say, oh, because I didn't do this, I impacted the game in this regard.
There's like a sense of like sacred ritualism that needs to be practiced. And if it's not, then things will go so haywire that you can't imagine just
you gotta get the pasties.
The pasties.
Yeah.
Instead of whatever concoction his wife makes and they decide to drink. That's made of like mule testicles and like 1,000 grated flies or whatever it is. Along with other things. But I like the brother's monologue when he's talking about how, he wears the same pair of underwear,
Yes.
the same flannel, like it's falling
Wake
apart.
up at the same time.
Wake up at the same time, go to the same place, do the same thing over and over again, and how it works for him.
Yep.
There's like this ritualistic rigidity that the characters in the movie follow, but I think that there's like an element to that of like how people perceive those that live in the UP. There's just this sense of like, oh yeah, this is just kind of who you are because of these things that you either do or partake in.
Yeah.
So like pasties, like hunting season,
Moonshine, you got the whiskey up there.
the whiskey, like the sap and all that
Yeah.
shit. Like it's just so kind of like ingrained, and I like the way that Jeff Daniels kind of just like distills it in this movie, and how that's representative of like, yeah, this is almost like sort of this this magical barrier that we're breaking, and once we break it, all hell will break loose.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
we
we're
get to
gonna go
see
on a
how that
walkabout.
plays out. Yeah.
Essentially, I mean, he really does.
And once the thing turns in this movie is when really when the sauce kicks off.
Dude,
so to speak.
This thing was fucking bizarre the whole time.
Yep. I'm curious how, because like me going into this the second time, I had an expectation for it,
Yeah.
and it played a little bit better for me knowing that it was going to go into the weird territory. But I'm curious your experience.
I
of,
mean,
like,
it's a very wholesome movie.
it's wholesome, but it's like, yeah,
It's fucking odd.
It's-
There
it's
are
odd.
so many different.
it's quite head scratching.
The whole time, like you can tell, he's the run of the litter. He's the laughing stock of the town, right? And there were some things that happened that I got a good kick out of, and then there's other things that happened. I was like, I don't know why he had to have a Native American wife. I mean, it felt like that was kind of
It's a bit of a
ham-fisted.
shoehorn spiritual element that they can kind of just easily incorporate,
but it's also
sort of fall into it.
I mean, yeah, to some extent, I was kind of just laughing about like, all right, we're making fun of Native American culture, and like he definitely felt like it was one of those like, hey, this could be part of the joke too, and so now that we're PC nowadays, like, and I don't get me wrong, I was watching, I was like, boy, I don't know if that lasts when he's doing the dance over the fire, which turns...
during that scene, Megan asked the question like, "Is this problematic?"
Yeah,
and I said, "I don't know."
It's
I don't really have the answer for that because it feels like I don't know. There's like a weird earnestness that this movie has that it doesn't feel like mean spirited at all. I don't think this movie is mean at all. I don't think that there's like a bone in this movie's body that feels aggressive.
No, it's all done for like gentle laughs, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that is probably something at some deer camp, someone did that, and it was just, and they were probably doing it in the most earnest way of like, we're on day 3. I haven't shot anything. I'm going to call upon the rain gods. Like, I'm getting into the spiritual element that, like, it's kind of like, I'm poking fun, but also, like, if I do kill a deer, like, I will be doing this next year.
Well, the way I kind of read that scene the second time was not necessarily like, oh, look at how silly indigenous language is. It was more so of like, look at how silly this white guy is being, trying to recreate these chants.
Yeah,
he's a foolish man.
That happens all the. I mean, it's never, at least in that light, because like that's
Right.
that's done in a lot of Disney movies. Like no one goes in, unless you're talking Wind River. Like no one goes in and does it in a very negative way.
And not to like completely excuse that scene, but it is something that it's like it's in line with how silly the character is and just how silly overall the movie is in general.
Well, and they play it up to it. They're like, he's got a Native American wife, so it's like we almost he has the right to do it, right? Like, so, but that's not. I mean, dude, that's one of them. The Jiminy McGiminy from Menominee or whatever the hell his name is. That guy, like, I was like,
Chevy shook her shit.
yeah, like, is there a part of the UP with some people up here that just are alcoholics that you don't understand, that sit on roofs?
Yeah.
The alien coming down, and I know that's probably like one of those things that there's a bunch of tall tales up there about spotting a UFO.
Yep.
I did like a lot of the tall tales stuff that would pop up in here.
Megan asked the question like, when is Dogman gonna pop up? I'm like, Dogman, not in this movie.
He kind of popped up. And the DNR, the one character I just did not understand was the DNR guy.
Yeah.
He shows up. It's just the weirdest thing ever. Like he doesn't do anything. There's literally no purpose for him, and it doesn't even make sense within the story that they're even crafting of him being there. Like, he just shows up, he sees something, he starts singing, and next thing you know, he stripped the strip scene. Very fucking awkward, by the way.
It's awkward, and I think what Jeff Daniels was attempting to do anyway was to just like portray the DNR in a way that's like ridiculous and silly, but like still in line with the kind of like weird surrealness of it. Like, and I think it felt to me like, and I don't know if I feel this way towards it negatively or positively yet, but it felt to me like, okay, we've got this guy in our theater troupe. He's very skinny. He's got this deep voice. He can kind of sing, but also he can be weird on camera. Let's just kind of let him in and do his thing.
Yeah.
And we'll fit it into the tapestry of the movie somehow. Let's make him a DNR officer. That's an element of this we haven't touched on yet.
It looked like it was a stitch that was off the pant. You get just snip.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it was at least a little bit in line with the events that preceded it, with how kind of unusual this movie is. It's just like a more it's an escalation. It's like, okay, we're just gonna like keep building upon like the weirdness of it until we like apex with basically the farting scene. And then
the apex was the bear walking scene and that dude getting overtaken by the spirit.
Yes.
Like that is all of that's what I guess I'm not, and I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. I was pretty much done.
You know, to me, it's just, like anytime something gets weird, you can always fall back on like, hey, we're just trying to make it weird. It still doesn't, like, to me, it's like, yeah, but like make it weird with it fitting in. And I know that they were trying to, there's a little bit of poking fun at the DNR, and maybe it was a very, like, I don't want to say metaphorical, but like very in your face of like, hey, we're going to strip him down and take, his rights away. Because he was doing a monologue while he's doing it and he's going on about something. And then all of a sudden he just goes to bed. Like it's not even like, hey, it's too late out, don't go or anywhere. He's like, hey, boys. And maybe I missed that dialogue, but all of a sudden, like, he's just off camera. And then all of a sudden shit starts happening. And I'm like, is that DNR guy still here? Like literally just...
Yeah, he just kind of becomes a part of the gang after a certain point.
And then they're like, that was the weirdest, because then they get into the whole thing with the spirits overtaking people, and he pops in, and all of a sudden he's like, I'm going to have my fun. I'm like, the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
That's probably the rowdiest it got for me, with the most head scratching of, I don't necessarily know, because this is a whole nother element that's introduced that was never preluded to or anything like that, that's just now all of a sudden overtaken in horror comedy.
Yeah,
what is it?
Evil Dead for Youpers. That's the Letterboxd review that I
saw. Then that scene, it does kind of fit in, but
I don't. There's like, I like maybe other than the DNR officer, I like the kind of characterizations that we get before shit really starts to get weird, and how. Yeah, we're getting like a little bit of insight of like this family dynamic. It's exaggerated. They're like really kind of leaning into the like caricature nature of how people will depict those from the Upper Peninsula.
Yes.
But I don't know. It maintains this level of earnestness that it never feels like Jeff Daniels is being like mean. And I think like him being from Michigan, like he was born in Georgia, but his parents are from Michigan and he grew up here.
Yeah.
So
we claim him.
We do claim him. We like Jeff Daniels around here. Hopefully he hasn't been canceled by the time this episode comes out. But nevertheless, there's like kind of like this inherent recognizability that he's able to tap into just based on his... he's experienced hunting. He's experienced the Upper Peninsula in a way that's like, yeah, this will like stick in someone's memory. And there's like just this kind of distinct specificity that I don't think you would get from anybody else who didn't grow up in Michigan trying to portray a movie like this.
Yeah.
That this is a movie that you can only get from someone like Jeff Daniels, who is like all too familiar with the ins and outs of like just Michigan culture in general.
Well, that's what
Feels authentic that way.
Well, that's what I was referencing in terms of this being like a folklore movie. You don't have, well, I'm sure you do, but like, pick like Iowa, right? Like Iowa doesn't have its own little movie that you've seen or that you know about or that hit nationwide audience, because I'm fairly certain it's got a theatrical release.
I was listening. It's weird. There wasn't too many materials on this to like research. The Wikipedia page is pretty bare. Surprisingly pretty
Cost
bare.
$1 million to make. I know that.
I think he tried to get distribution for it. Nobody wanted it, and then he kind of like guerrilla marketed it. And then all of a sudden, like, people in the local area in Michigan would like line up to buy like VHS copies of it or whatever.
Yeah.
So then he ended up reaching a deal. I think the movie ended up making like a little bit of money. He said it was like a $2 million profit or something.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
probably all up against all of his own money.
I'm not entirely sure if it had like a theater run, but
it's streaming, and that's got.
Yeah.
I mean, not to say at the time you didn't have that option.
There's for sure an audience that appreciates this movie and like what it's doing and a certain level of ubiquity, and we touched on it earlier, within the state of Michigan itself at the very least.
Well, that's what I mean. It feeds into this whole like the mythos of Escanaba into Moonlight, right? Like, have you seen the movie about us?
Yeah.
This
is us. This is what we're like.
Well, and if it didn't get a theatrical release, you're not finding people that it hit a mainstream audience. So like you had to go out to see the movie. Like you had to find it, right?
Yeah.
To own it, procure it, and sit down and watch it. It wasn't like you could just go, hey, let's go check out the Grand Haven 9 and go watch it there, right? Like you physically had to make the effort to go and purchase this thing. So it holds up in the regard of how much it was built up in my head with what was going to happen to actually see it. So
I'm surprised that like because it's become such a part of the culture of this movie to show other people, like, because that's how I watched this, was my friends showing it to me.
Yeah.
And like I've heard stories of like, my friend Zach showed this movie to people in his college and they were just like, what the fuck is this?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
What you're telling me, this is what Michigan is like? Like, I don't know. There's just this interesting kind of journey that you specifically have had with this movie where, like, 35 years, this is your first time seeing it.
So the first time I heard about this thing, like I said, I was probably middle school, so one, I'm laughing at too, because this means this movie had been out for 2-3 years by the time that I know that either my dad was talking about it or the members of my family that were talking about watching this thing. I think that's why some of it was built up. I know that reason why I didn't watch it is because the accessibility of it. Mm-hmm. We didn't have streaming, or you weren't renting this thing, so like you'd only heard about it. So unless someone owned the film, you're not watching it. And by the time I got to college, like I'd already heard enough about this thing where I was like, yeah, I don't know. It's Jeff Daniels, like Dumb and Dumber. He wasn't my favorite part of it. I know him from Speed. I like his work, but I take him more of like when he's in his thespian role as opposed to being kind of comedic Michigan guy. So that, and it's not like, I'm gonna sit here and get criticism, not avoiding it. But definitely wasn't like this is in my wheelhouse of something that I'm going to check out. Like if I'm going to have good, funny Michigan jokes now, like you can go to or whatever it is. There's a shameless plug and check out that, or see some reels on Midwestern people, right?
Yeah.
So the lore of it kind of built up, but what's at least to me, what's funny about it is it almost fits in with it. Like it still holds on to that. Like having seen it now, in 3 to 4 years, I will be able to still talk with people that haven't seen it, will reference it, and they will have if I make a joke, won't know it, but will know what I'm referencing to. Mm-hmm. Which is another props to the film itself, is that he could have really made a shitty film that no one cares about, right? Or this has got some charm to it. There's a little bit of heart in here.
Yeah.
But it does make up for a lot of the problems I had.
Can we go into some of the more technical parts of this movie?
Technical.
I kind of like how, first of all, I'm assuming you watched this on Amazon Prime.
Yes.
Right? It was free on Prime. So
did you
check
have the
that out.
subtitles on?
That's something I was going to bring up.
Okay.
So we got like maybe 30 seconds in, and I said, all right, I'm going to turn subtitles on because I think we're going to need them. And Megan was like, yeah, I think we're going to need them too. And I turn them on. Immediately, the subtitles are saying the wrong thing.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, this is going to drive me more insane than understanding only half of what they're saying without subtitles. So I ended up turning them off. And she was like, can we have subtitles on again? I really can't understand them. And it was when the Jimmers introduced.
Oh, my God.
And I turned them back on, and it's like, all right, closed captioning is just like playing a guessing game right now.
Oh, yeah.
Because like most of this shit is just like not what he's saying at
Not
all.
even close.
And I don't know. It was just so fascinating how it was just like completely wrong most of the time. So I ended up turning it off, and I just kind of had to get used to the dialect.
Yeah.
Especially with the Jimmer, because he's meant to be almost indecipherable.
Yeah, he's an alcoholic.
He's an alcoholic who has this very like specific kind of like shh dialect.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to call it, but that's
drunk UP guy.
That's how it's set. Drunk UP guy that's like hyperactive and feels like he lives in the bark of trees. Like
he reminded me of Genghis Khan from Night at the Museum. Like he was just screaming all of his lines, and then if it wasn't doing that, he's like, I'm just going to be incoherent.
Yeah, it's a very, very specific example. My mic feels like it's being weirdly quiet. Hold on. Testing. Hello.
The wave's good.
I think so. I think they're all right now. One thing I really want to bring up was, despite this being on streaming that you can watch in the year 2025, our Lord, I appreciate how this movie still kind of has like that VHS feel.
Very grainy.
Very grainy, and this feels like it's meant to be watched in a cabin. Like just straight up, like deep in the woods, you've got a VHS. It's like your only option for watching anything.
That's why I made the joke earlier about like at deer camp, you got a VHS player and your old Zenith TV.
You just pop it in, and it's like, yeah, this is like the perfect kind of vibe that I want to get into in this environment.
He also, so once again, and I can't believe this is 2001. Like my mind's really just blown because in the movie it's 1989.
Yeah.
And it's got the feel of a 1989 movie.
Yeah.
Right?
It does.
So, props to it, maybe. Maybe it was just like, hey, this is where we're cutting costs at. Like we'll go 16 mil on this thing.
Yeah. I mean, there's a scratchy element to this movie, kind of similar to the way 28 Days Later was made, except like this is even more indie than that. But
oh, you don't say.
I don't know. There's like a level of appreciation I have for just kind of how small this thing is, and I will say I do think that the visual directing of this is good. Like I think that there's kind of like stylistic visual choices with the camera work that are being made that aren't like necessarily revolutionary. They're nothing like super standout, but I think it's effective enough in kind of immersing you in the oddity, the kind of off-kilter feel that this movie has. Sort of like, we're making a lot of comparisons to Evil Dead, but sort of like there's like a little bit of dynamic camera work that's going on to really like kind of get you into it. It doesn't feel flat to me or uninteresting at any point, really.
Yeah, I did not. I didn't feel like a lot of the shots were set up, and then there was some creative choices.
I think that there was a decent amount of them.
Yeah, and that's where I did not see it or feel it that way. To me, this felt very indie, and I wish I had another movie to compare it to where there's a lot of set camera work, and then there's a couple, hey, we're gonna be there's some stylistic choices here that we're gonna go for, and it just it's Daniel's taking it over, but like that's what makes it more personable, though. I will say that this thing feels very much like it. Like if I had this DVD and I walked up to a stranger's house and I was like, this is for you. Please watch this. Like you'll enjoy yourself. Here you go. And you're like, oh my God, that was made for me. Here, I'm gonna put this on. Like that's kind of how this movie felt. Is that like Jeff Daniels was like, McLean Parker, you're the only one that's gonna watch this thing, and I want to give it to you. Mm-hmm. And that's where like the cinematography where I'm like, yeah, it's not great. It wasn't. It felt very personable, and I think that there's a certain, I can't think of the word.
I think it had like enough of a personality for me to just kind of buy into it.
Yeah.
But
I don't think this thing's like The Room. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, this isn't like, but it's like a step up from that, where it's just it's doing enough to keep me engaged, and there's enough going on. It's based off a play, so he's got there. Hey, this is where we're shooting it at. This is what we got going on. What I did like too, and the camera work itself, like for $1 million film, you're gonna get what you get. And it's not bad. It's not great. And I'm not being dismissive of what you're saying about it, because I can see it there.
Yeah.
And I definitely think there's like some choices. It's not just like, hey, this is what I read and directing for dummies, right? I will say though, what we've talked about it before, being able to be, and it makes a lot more sense now that I know that this is a trope, having multiple characters within the shot, having dialogue, hitting marks, and being able to go over stuff. Remnar's story, when he's talking about bagging the 50-point buck, right? Mm-hmm. There are multiple shots in that's probably a 4-minute dialogue scene, right? Like there's only a couple different cuts in that, where that it's not the close up on him and then back to Jeff and then back to him and we're gonna hit Dad. Like there's multiple members in that scene that are bouncing off each other with that dialogue and the script. And I applaud movies so much when they're able to do that, because then one, it wasn't hard working with the guy, right? You didn't have, that's another retake, we're not getting it. All right, Remnar, here you go. So we're gonna set you up here, hit it again. Like those are one shots that like take a little bit of craft, and you have to be able to make sure that you got like a good counterpart that you're working with on the dialogue and the script. That I did appreciate that quite a bit, that these 4 guys really felt like friends, and they felt like they were at deer camp. Like not to say with all the oddity going on, but like the relationships that they had didn't feel forced whatsoever.
Yeah, there's like an element of this that is synced to, I mean, not just like the technical parts of it, but like the characterization of each of the members of the family. Have you played euchre before?
Have I played? Come on, man.
I have something embarrassing to admit.
You've never played euchre?
I've never played euchre.
Damn.
30 years in this state of Michigan, where euchre is quite a cultural establishment. I have not played.
Euchre and cribbage, man.
Haven't played that either.
Jesus Christ.
I know. I'm a failure. I need my Michigan card revoked.
You gotta drink some moose testicles and eat some flies.
It doesn't sound like that bad of a deal. What did you think of the scene where his brother is talking about how he won the lager from the bar by playing that game?
Funny.
With the yeah.
I saw that and I was. What's funny is, you go, is that a Michigan thing or is that just a thing?
Megan asked me, like, do people do this? And I'm like, I don't know. Because I don't drink. I don't go to bars. So I'm not entirely sure if this is
he's picking his mate for the night. I was, boy, that's what they had to do back in the 80s.
I like how it was framed as like this sort of mating ritual.
Yes.
Like this kind of like, this is almost like documentary style.
Yeah.
Filming these people.
David Attenborough was about to start talking about this.
Yeah. So as you can see here, the male places the pool cue between his legs, and the female presents herself with a toilet paper roll. Quite reminiscent of the times in the 80s during the Upper Peninsula drinking escapades.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of little things about this movie that are fun to me. I think there's like just an inherent charm that I don't think will ever just be washed away whenever I think about this movie, or like if I ever decide to rewatch it again.
It's so nostalgic for just being, like I said, it's an inside joke that Jeff Daniels was able to give everyone. Because there's everything that happens in there in some element you could relate to. Like my buddies, we've never gone deer hunting, never, but like
I've been once. When I was 13.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You hold that. You fucking...
I think I was holding a 22 that, my dad let me hold while we were sitting at the bottom of a tree with. And we were there for hours. It was fucking boring.
Yep.
It was boring as shit.
I'm not going to lie, man.
At least to me when I was 13. Nowadays, I would probably appreciate the solitude in the middle of the woods, just like getting away from everything. It's like,
Get your pods in.
Yeah, I could just sit here for however long. That's fine with me. Not think about anything.
After watching this thing, I was like, you know what? I might that might be something that's on like a bucket list to do. Because honestly, the other aspect I really liked about this is like, because they had bagged their bucks, they were men. They could go up here, get pissed drunk, have fun, eat whatever food they wanted, shit their brains out, fart, just be men. But they didn't have to worry about it, right? So like you could tell that guy's like, man, I've been waiting a whole month to get up here.
Yeah.
You know, when he plops on the couch and it's just this fucking log cabin with a shitty couch, and it's just like I just get to do whatever I want for the next 3 days.
Yeah, there's this kind of like positive association with it of like a sense of like calm and solitude, but also like camaraderie if you decide to like hunt with other people. I think it can work in different ways. Mm-hmm. And I don't know.
I wouldn't be shocked either if the characters all represented like a different type of hunter.
Yeah,
because I don't really, like you've got like the Jeff Daniels that hasn't gotten anyone. Is that like any new guy going out? Is that someone that maybe sparsely gets some deer? Remnar, who maybe is just the fucking luckiest guy in the world, and every other time he goes up there he bags one. You got Pops with the quiet calmness, the confidence of and probably just being able to lie his ass off on everything. That was what I appreciated the most. Is him, the story's always, it plays into the superstitions, right? It plays into the bear walker. You got this evil spirit that takes over. You got, the porcupine piss that you got to throw on Damascus scent, which, I bet you if you walked into a bar in friggin' Ravenna and said, yeah, I went hunting the other day, got me some porcupine piss, like you'd have 4 people go like, oh yeah, no, I got me some too. Actually, raccoon piss is a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like there's just these stories of all these times these guys josh around and you lie about what you do that they actually put onto the screen. But when I knew it was kicking off, and which I really appreciated, was when the dad's talking about how he got the 24 point with the 30-inch rack, and it was 280 pounds, and they're all like, oh, bullshit. It's the fish that you catch. It's always like when you go fishing, when you were 14 and you tell your friends, like, yeah, I got a 5-pounder. By the time you're in your 50s, you're like, it was 24 pounds and it ripped me into the water. I was giving it hell, and I got my hand in there and I grabbed it and I husked it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And that's what I really, that's part of the charm of this thing, is like it really feeds into a lot of, and it might just be, familial ties and what families do all around, but it very much of a Michigan sense, because I saw that and I was like, yeah, my family does that. I got all these fucking people that tell me these stories about.
Yeah, it evokes the sense of like tall tale, kind of like Paul Bunyan, Davy Crockett shit.
That's what I'm saying, and that's where, and this whole movie has that sense around it. Just the movie itself it's almost a tall tale of a movie.
Yeah.
What
did you feel about the ending, and like when he finally bags that buck? And he says, honey, get the garlic and onions ready, or whatever. What does he say?
Something in onions.
Liver and onions.
I think it's liver and onions.
You get the liver and onions ready, honey. I'm coming home.
Yep.
Were you feeling like even a little bit like kind of emotional towards the end? Because I was feeling like a little bit of something.
It got dusty for you?
I got not like dusty, but just like he did it. I don't know. I think it was like the great grandpa showing up and like kind of putting his hand on his shoulder, kind of stuff that worked for me. But I don't know. How did you feel?
It's a rite of passage. He finally earned the respect. That plays some into the masculinity shit with this, and finally acceptance. But no, I was happy. It was like I said, it's a wholesome movie. Like you're not gonna watch it.
It's
to
a
be
warm
like,
blanket.
Yeah, like, oh bullshit.
Or, fuck you.
Yeah. Who's that guy?
That wouldn't happen.
Yeah. My ass. He goes out there in the fight. It's 30 degrees.
Fucking wanker.
Yeah. Like, no, it's like you said, it's a warm blanket. Like there's a smirk on your face, a wry smile, and you go, attaboy. Like, good for you. Like, you know, and you could take the worst of worst people and throw that on. And if they have any ounce of being able to relate to Jeff Daniels with anything. So what I liked about it the most, the reason why it ended up just being a smile. One, I don't know why the grandpa all of a sudden just showed back up outside of like it being the rite of passage, or maybe now you've earned your manhood. Because like with you, I'm like, I feel like this whole thing is Jeff Daniels placing so much of this on him, but you never get that sense with the other men in the family that he isn't there. You know, it's always like tongue in cheek, but like, hey, we love you, you know, like this and that. Like we're always gonna
some like mild ribbing at worst.
Yeah. And so like the grandpa showing up and like all of a sudden it turning into this very much like, hey, now you're a sody boy, you know, like I was like, he's 43. You know, like, like what are, like, I'm happy that he got it. Is this like, do we have to get this in depth with like, hey, like finally you're, you know, when you ascend into heaven, you can stand next to me, my lad. But he does go through all that trouble to fucking do it.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting just to think about the obstacles that he has to hurdle and everything he has to go through. I mean, God's got to shine a light on him. And it's not even God, apparently. It's something much higher.
It's something much higher.
Yeah. You know, for him to get this thing where you're just like, hey, you know, he did it. You know, but it's warm. It's cute. It's fuzzy. It makes you feel good. Yeah.
Optimal watching conditions in a cabin in the woods with a nice fire crackling, maybe in the fall, definitely during the wintertime.
Yeah.
But throwing this on a VHS and just letting the grain wash over you.
Yes, I adhere to that.
You ever have a pasty? I've had them a couple times, I think.
I want to say I have. We had...
I think I just had like a normal kind of meat and potatoes one before.
When I was at Ferris, I think there was one time where that... So when I was at Ferris, we would play it. We'd go to Houghton, Michigan, or we go to Marquette. And so I've been to the UP a couple times, right? But then when I was coaching at Ferris, one of the games would be up there. And I think it was by my third year... I finally found the lore of the pasties and why it was so popular. They actually had a restaurant that just served them. You know, like as soon as you cross the bridge, and I don't know where it's at, but they have a restaurant that serves them. And I remember I get the whole story, and then I had to learn why they were made that way. Never made sense. They like you talk about what's in those things, and you're like, the fuck, like it doesn't. I don't know. Maybe to you it sounds delicious. To me, I was like, this isn't beef Wellington here.
Well, there's like different types, and you can like get ones that are like more savory. You can get like dessert ones.
Oh yeah, no, they've definitely made it like a thing.
Yeah,
but
it's so for people who don't know what it is, it's basically this like kind of small sort of pot pie-esque thing where it's like encrusted.
It's a hot pocket with just a bunch of crap in it.
It's like this encrusted thing like in this kind of baked dough. And it can have things like, I don't know, shredded chicken or beef, but like there's usually like onions. A lot of people put ketchup in them.
Yep.
Potatoes, stuff like that. But you can get them with like desserts kind of stuff, like fruity, like you can get like cherry ones and apple ones, peach ones. Yeah, there's like all different types of them.
You know why?
They come in like the same sort of form factor. Why?
I'm saying, you know why? Like how they got created?
I do not.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So UP, right? You got iron ore, Iron Mountain, all that crap up there, right? All the coal diggers, all the people that would work in the mountains or go down in the mountains. You'd have to bring your lunch pails, right? Well, they started figuring out how do you get the most bang for your buck without having to transport all this crap on you. They started making pasties. They would put those together, and you could cram 3,500 calories into one of those things.
Yeah.
And I think like you could just bring it with you, put it in your pocket, right? And then you can eat it whenever you want, or you'd be able to heat it up if you had a source there. So that's why they're so it's such a big deal up in the UP, and that's why they've hung around for so long.
Yeah.
So that's the inception of them. And now all of a sudden you can buy them at Walmart.
Yeah. The novelty has sort of worn, but not
for Remnar.
Doesn't diminish the legacy. Not for Remnar. Shall we get into ratings?
Yeah.
For Escanaba into Moonlight. You get to go first.
Oh, shit. Well, after talking about it and getting away from being very literal about the film, this thing's got a lot of charm, very wholesome. Like I said, I think this is like this. What's interesting about this is rewatchability a little bit. I could definitely see me watching this with a group of friends. I could see me if we ever, going out into the woods, going camping. It's not even doesn't even have to be deer camp. Just literally, if you get to somewhere where you got a VHS player and a TV, throw it on. A lot of the stuff with Michigan rings true. I mean, this is almost like a love song, and to some extent. So the where I just did not like it. There's a lot of weird shit in this thing that just absolutely makes zero sense.
It's a little bonkers.
Maybe I'm wrong for that. Maybe I'm hitting the nail on the head. I don't know. But when it comes to like taking out those scenes and just having it be the guys hanging out, the boys being boys, really appreciated that. I had this at a 5 out of 10. I'm actually going to bump it to a 6 out of 10. Like I said, I can't get past some of the stuff, but the charm and the wholesomeness of this puts it onto the cusp. If you get to a 6 out of 10, you're right there for me being able to say, hey, check this out, throw it on.
Okay. That's pretty fair, I would say. This is a 7 out of 10 for me. A lot of sevens going on for me in this episode.
6 7.
I think the episode's canceled now. I think we're just done. I think we're done. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. Boy, you walked right into that.
Did I walk or did I fall? Did I trip and hit my head on the cement?
Farted right into that.
I did.
Hey, did you laugh at that
Jiminy.
scene?
Yes.
Really?
I laughed because of how long it was going on.
Oh, so the absurdity
the absurdity of it, like, just kind of won me over. It like circled back around to just like, yeah, this is so ridiculous.
Now that I think about it, I mean, no, I'm not gonna lie. The one thing that the dad with his they took a leaf blower and just had his lips going everywhere. I was like, all right, it's kind of funny. But now that I'm thinking about it too, like, in movies where there's a bomb that goes off and everyone dives in slow motion, and then you get the reverb and the after effects of the explosion, and it's all kind of culminating, and then like you're trying to get your bearings. Now that I think about it, if that was the intention,
yeah,
not bad.
I enjoyed it for what it was, and I enjoy this movie for what it is. It's a fun time. It's a cozy blanket that is very specific to Michigan culture, but also very tongue-in-cheek about it. And I think it manages to balance it pretty well for the most part. There's just some things about this, kind of like what you said, are pretty incongruous. Just some things that are hard to kind of penetrate within like the weird tapestry of this movie and what it ultimately represents. But I think for the most part, if you want a fun time that you will not be bored by, and want to learn a little bit about a little bit of Michigan culture, I think this is a pretty solid pick for just that very thing. So there you have it, 7 out of 10.
Very nice. Yeah, not as eloquent as the last one, but you got your point across.
I can't always be on all the time. And speaking of on,
yeah, we're
going to jump onto our next segment, which is a game.
Oh,
I want to try this out.
Okay.
This is a new idea that I came up with. I shouldn't say very proud of it, but I'm hoping it'll go well.
Yes.
The game is called Lost in Translation. So how the game works is I have a list of foreign titles for American movies, or like English movie titles.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you the title of it from a foreign country, and you have to try to guess what movie it is in English.
Oh, God.
So I'm not going to say like foreign words or anything.
Okay.
But the first one, which, I think you'll be able to get this one. This is kind of a softball one. The French translation for this movie is called The War of the Stars.
Star Wars.
Yep.
Okay.
You got that right. The next one. So this is...
that was on a poster in France?
I think so, yeah.
Boy, that's misleading.
You're gonna get the point of this game really quick. So the Spanish translation of this movie is Night of the Night. You get 3 guesses. For each one you get wrong, I'll give you a hint.
Night of the Night.
Mm-hmm.
Night of the Living Dead.
Nope. This is a superhero movie.
Batman.
Which one?
Dark Knight.
Correct.
Nice.
Dark Knight. That is the Spanish title for The Dark Knight.
The fuck?
This next one is, I looked at these before, and this one is maybe one of my favorites.
Okay.
So this is the Chinese translation for this movie. A very powerful whale runs to heaven.
Okay. Free Willy.
You got it.
Really?
Ding, ding, ding.
Nice.
Congratulations. That is the Chinese
Did
translation.
they go like AI and take the image and like...
Hey, Free Willy came out a long time ago. AI wasn't as prevalent a thing.
A whale runs to heaven. Did it say runs?
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah, doesn't jump, doesn't fly. Whale runs. If you think about a running whale, that's a very funny piece of imagery.
Stars is probably my favorite so far.
You think so? I like a very powerful whale runs to heaven personally, but that's just me.
They're saying that's the movie title.
Yes.
Okay,
For
so
Chinese audiences, that is how the movie is being advertised.
imagine you're in China. Okay, you've got 2 hours to kill. You're like, I'm gonna go check out a movie, and you see a whale runs to heaven.
I mean, that's a pretty provocative title.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, so now you are. Is it hook, line, and sink? You're like, I'm checking this movie out, or are you scratching your head, being like, what is this?
If you're a freak like me, you're going in as soon as you see it.
Okay, now next question. It's Free Willy. Are you disappointed or not?
I mean, I haven't seen Free Willy personally,
Oh,
so I can't say. Maybe I'll check the movie out and I'll think to myself, I would like this movie better if it was called A Very Powerful Whale Runs to
a
Heaven.
very powerful whale. Yeah. All right. I didn't mean to derail us.
No, you're good. This is the point of the game.
What a fun exercise.
Gets the ball rolling.
Yeah.
So this next one
You can
is
see my stupidity just rolling through my head. That's why A War of Stars is my favorite, because I'm literally just thinking about the sun getting collapsed by another sun.
Mm-hmm.
And just 90 minutes of like 2001 Space Odyssey.
literal stars like warring with each other.
Yeah, exactly.
It turns into this like trippy ass like fucking
Lars von Trier movie.
yeah, this visual exercise in human comprehension.
It's just Melancholia, except it's suns.
Yeah. This next one is fun. This is also a Chinese translation.
Okay.
He's a ghost.
Oh, a ghost story.
No.
Okay, Casper.
No.
Okay, shit. I got one left.
You got one left, and I haven't even given you a hint yet.
Yeah, that's not good. Do I get 2 hints now? Or...
I'll give you 2 hints.
Okay.
Hint 1, this is a somber drama
Okay.
that came out in, I believe, the late 90s. And it stars a very prominent child actor known as one of the most, like...
Sixth Sense?
It's The Sixth Sense.
Oh, man.
The title kind of just...
Yeah, we're not going to say anything.
So we
Prominent child actor, yeah, he's a ghost.
we can move on.
Yeah.
This next one, let me find the country of origin for this. I believe it is the Denmark, or like the Danish translation.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay, I gotcha.
The boy drowned in the chocolate sauce.
Oh, Willy Wonka.
Close, but not quite.
Okay.
It is...
Wonka.
Nope, the other one.
Wow, Willy.
You're so close. You're
Okay.
so close.
I don't know
almost
how
there.
many of these goddamn movies they've made with these things.
Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. That's the Tim Burton one.
Oh, come on.
I know. I'll give you half points for that. I'm not keeping track of points, by the way.
I've got all of them right.
Yes, you
Except the crappy ass title where they made the exact same film. That'd be like calling Psycho who's the guy that redid it with Vince Vaughn? And calling it
Gus Van Sant?
Yeah, and then calling it like Mom's Home. And it's like literally shot for shot.
Mama's Boy.
Yeah.
This next one, this will be interesting because it has the real title in it, but a different subtitle. So you'll have to guess which movie this is in the series.
Okay.
So this is, again, the Danish translation of this movie.
Yeah.
Die Hard: Mega Hard. So which one is that? You get 3 guesses.
With a Vengeance.
Yep, correct.
Yeah.
That is Die Hard with a Vengeance. Die Hard, Mega Hard.
That is misleading too.
All right, this next one. This is the Hebrew title of this film.
Oh, okay.
It's Raining Falafel.
Batman.
Nope, this is an animated film.
Oh, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
That is correct.
Yeah.
They changed it to It's Raining Falafel because meatballs aren't as common as falafel in Hebrew territories. So there you have it.
It's in is it Judaism? Where's Hebrew at?
Where is Hebrew at? Where Hebrew be? Israel, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
It's probably where the movie had that translation made for.
Okay.
This next one.
But you can really see. I wonder if producers are just sitting there waiting for like the movie poster. Like imagine do you ever have AOL?
No.
Oh man, with dial-up internet, you'd pull up an image and it would have to download it, so it would come down from the top, right?
I'm familiar with that part.
Right. Yeah. Imagine sitting there in 2000s, AOL, dial-up, you're waiting for the image just to see what this country fucking, 20,000 miles away did for, your movie that you made, and it's raining falafels. As it's coming down, you're just like, how'd they change it? Because if you go raining falafels, they may have just increased it by 12% of the people showing up. And then if you have a powerful whale runs the Jesus, you might have just lost like 20% of the market share, with like just how they titled it. So I'm just imagining a guy chain smoking, watching this image come down. Like, what'd they fucking call it this time?
I might just get a poster of Free Willy, except with that title.
That's what I'm saying.
And then just hang it up in the podcast
my God, that's
room.
so hipster. So hipster.
Do you know me? Are you looking at me right now?
Well, I mean, I'm in the same boat though. Like a War of Stars definitely would have that and have that hanging up somewhere.
We could get something commissioned maybe.
Yeah. Yes.
So this next one is fun. And I don't know how many of these we want to do. There's like a bunch of them I have. So just, we can kind of suss it out. Maybe a couple more. So this is the Argentinian translation for this movie. Vaseline.
What is Bronson?
It's not that.
Okay.
This is a late 70s musical.
Grease.
Correct. Ding, ding, ding.
Oh, my God.
So this next one, this is the German translation. A twin seldom comes alone.
Pair that up with Die Hard, Mega Hard. The Shining.
Nope. This is a movie about twins. The main characters are twins.
Yeah, twins.
Oh, you're guessing. You're guessing Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. No, it is not that. This is a kids comedy movie.
Oh, that's the Parent Trap.
Correct. Ding, ding, ding.
What
Lindsay
is it called?
Lohan.
Twins seldom come alone.
A twin seldom comes alone.
What? Okay, next game we're playing is you figure out the dollar amount that these movies made in these countries and have me guess that, because it's like one of two things, right? Like you look at that thing and you go, you don't even care about the title, you just see Lindsay Lohan and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go see it, or you're reading the title and you're like, we need to figure out what other movies are titled in these countries.
Yeah, well, let's keep on going.
Yeah. No, I'm saying like do they make films? So like Hebrew, do they have like an Israel production house that they're making? Like that they,
like if it was translated into America, it would have like a weird ass title or something.
I'm just saying, do they make movies? Like we got Hollywood here. Is there a Hollywood in Israel?
I actually don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
And then what do they call the movies they make over there?
Propaganda. Anyway.
Oh,
Anyway, let's do two more.
Okay.
So this is the French translation for this movie. Mom, I missed the plane.
Mom, I missed the plane. Meet the Parents.
Nope. This is a John Hughes movie. Directed by John Hughes.
Planes, Trains, Automobiles.
You're getting closer, but not quite. This is a Christmas movie.
Home Alone.
Home Alone. Ding, ding, ding. You got it. Congratulations.
How do they fit this on the poster? And what image are they using?
Probably the same image of him going like, making the
And then it
shocked
just says,
face.
"Mom, I missed the plane."
I think that actually can kind of work. Like, I missed the plane, and then him making the like, oh face.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, they're like these are like taglines.
Yeah. That is more of a tagline than it is a title.
Yeah.
Okay, let's end it on this one because
Okay.
this one is really funny to me. So
Okay.
this is the Thai translation.
Okay.
Dimwit surges forth.
Excuse me.
Dimwit surges forth.
Lord of the Rings.
No. Very much not that type of movie.
I love Lord of the Rings, by the way. So while it was a shot, I love that movie.
Dimwit surges forth. No. Do you have another guess?
You didn't give me a hint.
Okay, well, I didn't know if that was a real guess. Lord of
Of
the
course,
Rings.
it's a real guess. I don't know how these Free Willy was.
This is a comedy.
Oh fuck.
Doesn't quite narrow it down.
No, it doesn't. That's what I'm saying. Okay, it's a comedy.
I'll give you this. It's a, I believe, 90s comedy.
Great.
Narrows it down a little bit, maybe.
Dimwit surges forth. I hope Sam's playing this game. Like, just he pauses it and he's like, "Oh, got it." What is a comedy with there's something about Mary?
No. This is a prominent comedy star. One of the big ones. He's got a funny voice.
Great. Okay. Funny voice comedy 90s. Who had a funny voice in the 90s? They all do. God damn it. I've gotten all of them right so far, right? Willy Wonka counts. Okay. I'm the animal.
No. This is a sports comedy. Very prominent comedy star
With a funny voice.
with a funny voice.
Yeah, I don't know. Who's Sandler's the only one that I can think of doing Happy Gilmore.
So fucking close. It's the Water Boy. It's the Water Boy.
The character has a funny voice.
Yep.
I guess he does.
What did you think I meant?
The actor.
Oh.
So we were talking about comedies not too long ago, and we were talking about Bobcat Goldthwait and who's the other one from Caddyshack?
Rodney Dangerfield?
Yeah. So those guys are creeping in my head
Yeah.
as you're talking about, and then so that's why I did not. I was not thinking Sandler, and if I did, I was going to guess Billy Madison.
Rodney Dangerfield in Lil Nicky, an Adam Sandler movie that I watched for the first time recently. Yeah, not a great movie.
Nope.
Dimwit Surges Forth is the Water Boy.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
congratulations, you got most of them right except for the last one. Ding 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 ding. Your prize is you get to attend the next recording of the Neon Crew podcast.
Let's go.
Hell yeah. Speaking of the next episode,
Yeah.
you get to make a recommendation.
I do. Are we? Is Begonia the choice? Like what? I don't know what's out that's new, or if
I don't know if Begonia is still in theaters. Is my only worry.
That's what I'm thinking too. That feels like a Yorgos film that would get yanked quick.
Yorgos getting yanked.
Oh,
Tell me what else is new. Huh?
yeah. Kinds of kindness, huh?
Yeah, it only has like one showtime now, and it's at like 9 p.m. So might be hard to swing.
Okay. Well, if that's not the case, we're gonna have to find something else. I'm gonna recommend a movie that fuck it, we're just gonna do it. I've wanted to watch this thing. I will probably watch it. I would watch it in my own time, but might as well watch it and then discuss it. Hold on one second.
I'm holding.
Yes. The only reason why is because I don't know how much meat's on that bone outside of it being a fun movie, and we just did a fun movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you want to? You can only do so many fun movies.
Yeah.
Like at some point, you got to kind of pick something that's not fun. Feels like homework. Although there's nothing that I'm looking at on my watch list that feels like homework.
That's because you love all movies, even the bad ones. You love it. You know you love it. You love the thrill.
Bad ones.
You love the feeling it gives you, the excuse that you need to pour out your hatred of it. you know you're sick for it.
Yeah.
Freak. You little freak.
No, I don't know if that's why I'm saying I guess there's really nothing there. Sometimes it feels good being able to fucking just tear into something, but you got to have a real hatred for it.
It's got to be organic. Can't be manufactured.
On the hatred or this movie option that I'm trying to pick with a lot of dead time. People
Both.
Listening like, oh, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing?
The dead time gets cut out.
Yeah.
I will tell you right now.
Oh, really?
Yes, I cut it all out.
Thank Christ.
That's why you don't have to panic, my boy.
All right. So this is giving me just a couple seconds. And the problem is the further I go down, the more it gets into what are we gonna watch? I had something picked up that would have gone well with Begonia too.
Let me check the showtimes next week, maybe. Well, next week's going to be tough because it's going to be Thanksgiving. So, I don't know. Yeah, it might really not be in theaters then anymore.
No, there's probably won't be.
Yeah, it's not even going to be around here anymore.
No, that's what I was saying, dude.
Yeah.
You know what? We're going to do it. We're just going to do it.
Let's do it.
I'm not going to sit there. We're watching Carpenter film.
Ooh. Okay. Johnny Boy. Coming back.
Stars a famous WWF wrestler.
Yo, are
You know
we
it?
watching They Live?
Have you seen it?
I've seen They
No
Live.
way.
Yes, way.
Oh,
I have a They Live shirt.
you do?
Yes. I usually just wear it to work, but hell, I'll wear it during the record.
Done. They live. Let's do it. Let's talk about it. I'm interested now to hear. I watched it not too long ago, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna blow Kyle's mind recommending this. Me and Sam were texting about it, and I'm pretty sure a year ago I had it lined up that I was like, I'm gonna recommend this one of these times. Haven't done it. We started talking about it. We were texting, and I was like, you know what? I gotta get that back on. Like, we just missed Halloween too. Oh no! Hold on. All right.
You guys can't see it, but Mac is making a lot of faces.
I
right
know.
now.
All right. Here's the only other option that we got. Okay.
So I got a choice.
Yeah, I'm putting it back in because I really want to talk about They Live, but there's a movie that I haven't seen that is supposedly supposed to encapsulate the next holiday coming up. I don't know if you've seen the movie or not. We will find out. And you choose, because I have one I have seen and would love to talk about. The other one I haven't seen, but it's also maybe it captures the spirit of Thanksgiving. Do you know what movie I'm talking about?
Are you talking about Eli Roth's Thanksgiving?
Yes.
I have not seen Eli Roth's Thanksgiving. I don't have quite the highest opinion of Mr. Roth.
All right, let's watch They Live then.
Okay.
As soon as you said Eli Roth, I was like, oh God, I don't want to see fucking skull trauma.
I mean, if you want to talk about Thanksgiving,
No,
we can talk about Thanksgiving.
I really don't. I was
It's
just
just-
going to do it because it's Thanksgiving.
Well, the episode will also come out like in the middle of December.
Yeah.
So it'll just kind of miss the mark.
They Live is set in December in California.
Then let's do that one.
Okay.
Let's do They Live.
Perfect.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excited
It's
to talk
going to pair up
about
with
this.
Begonia because of the, corruption, bring down the government, all that stuff.
If you manage to watch it and I don't get the chance to rewatch it, I would just love to talk about it in any sense. Maybe it's not like the other movie we pair with it, but maybe we do like a kind of light touching on it sort of thing.
Pair maybe Eddington with it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Eddington with They Live.
We have not talked Eddington. That would be a robust app.
You want to do that then?
Should
Eddington
we
and They Live?
I will have seen this movie now twice within a month. So
It's up to you. I'm willing to watch Eddington again.
Really?
Yes.
Sure. Fuck it.
Fuck it.
It's
All
on.
right.
They live in Eddington. Let's go.
I think we got some
Ari
juice
Aster
here.
stands over here.
Yeah.
He sucks. You can't make movies anymore, bro. You just don't get it.
Sucks to suck, man. Eddington is what we're going to talk about with your recommendation of John Carpenter's They Live.
Yes.
1988. 1988.
Oh, so close. I was gonna say 89.
Tune in for episode 108 and be sure to check those movies out before that episode comes out 2 weeks from now. Hopefully barring any future delays. I think that the previous one was the exception to the rule. And we'll have a more consistent output from here on out. So, McLean, anything you want to say before we go on the hunt?
Oh, nice. You betcha. WWTHD.
Oh, bye, everybody. The Neon Crew podcast is hosted by Kyle Yates and McLean Parker. Kyle, who is myself, also helps to produce, edit, and upload every episode. Our music was composed by Gideon Hunter. Our artwork was created by Lauren Hunter. Thank you so much for listening to our show. Episodes get scheduled to release every 2 weeks. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Follow us on various social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and our YouTube community page for updates and information on upcoming episodes. Want to join the Neon Mafia? Head over to our shop page at etsy.com/shop/the Neon Crew podcast for some quality, comfortable merch.